material and just conceptual, it just really annoyed me because the people I'd be debating would be like too dense and in a lot of cases just not smart enough to be able to hold like a good conceptual conversation about their motivations for or against a religion. That it just kind of drove me crazy. Good question though. Good question though. I did have fun with those religious lives for a while, and maybe I would again. And I think that I just really burned out on them because there was no winning. There was truly no winning. Welcome in. What's going on, Ramsey? Do you support Trump? Looks like Ramsey left. Oh no, Ramsey's still in here. Ramsey, hello.
Yo, can you hear me?
What's up, man? You support Trump?
Yeah, because I didn't want to vote for like a woman, so.
Ah, sick, bro. We're going to go ahead and start the live over on YouTube. Then we're going to hop into our debate. Don't you run away while I'm getting that live started. Don't worry, man. We're going to have a good conversation. Good conversation indeed. Here we go, everybody. Just give us a second to get that live stream started over on YouTube. He left. He ran. Loser. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hello, and welcome in for everybody tuning in over on that YouTube live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you giving me some of your time today. As we've done for a couple days in a row, we're going to hop back into the 1 liberal versus 100 Trump supporter debates. If you're curious on how this works, right now we also have a live stream running over on TikTok where anybody and everybody can request to join to have a conversation with us. And that is what we are live streaming to the masses today. Now, let's go ahead and get that very next guest loaded into the live stream. If you happen to be watching and you support Trump, hop in that queue. We'll happily have you up. However, I will ask you guys to join to follow the rules. If you do join the queue, the rules are simple. Got to be at least 18 from America and support Trump. Very simple. Just make sure that you're following those rules if you want to join. And welcome in. Hey, do you support Trump?
I just have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do apologize, though. I do just want to make sure that you are following the rules here. Are you MAGA?
Yes, partially, but he's done recently has kind of made me question myself.
Are you driving?
No, I'm in the car with somebody.
No worries. Do you think that you could just turn the Bluetooth off on your phone so I could hear you a little bit better? It'll be night and day, night and day.
Yes.
All right, well, she's turning that Bluetooth off. Everybody over on TikTok, make sure that we're double tapping. And for everybody that is tuning in,
can you hear me better now?
I could hear you significantly better. Truly is night and day. Yeah, go ahead and take it away, Haley.
Okay, great. So I saw a thing that posted online how Trump is trying to shut down all of the reserve aviation units for the military. And my dad is in the military, and it's kind of made me turn my head kind of upside down with it because it's getting 3,100 soldiers furloughed, and I just don't think that that's very fair. And my place where my dad is at now is currently being shut down due to it. And it's just kind of made me question my whole liking him anymore. And I just need to know your opinion of why do you think it's happening? And
well, listen, Ailey, I'm going to be honest. I think that Donald Trump promising to pass tax cuts to make the bottom 40% of income earners poorer is probably a larger issue in the grand scheme of things than shutting down a couple aviation furloughs. So I wish that would have been the red flag when he ran on it. However, I do get it because you're telling me this personally impacts your dad. I'm happy that, you're opening up your eyes, better late than never. But I don't know specifically what you're talking about. I know nothing about that. But Ailey, I really do hope that you end up, going anti-Trump all the way. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day. And I wish that I could have been more help as it relates to the aviation furloughs. I just happen to know nothing about that.
Yeah, I thank you. I just appreciate it for, giving your thoughts about it because it's really kind of just impacted me. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's personally impacting a lot of people. That's right. Well, have a good rest of your day, Haley. I appreciate you so much for coming up. Guys, make sure we are in that queue that we're at least 18 years old from America and support Donald J. Trump. We're going to go to get that next guest up in here. Welcome into You Support Trump, Morgan.
It's Matt Morganelli.
Sorry, Matt Morganelli. Hi, Mr. Matt. How old are you?
I'm 21. Oh, I'm turning 22 in 13 days.
Dude, happy early birthday, Mr. Matt. Blaze, thank you for the galaxy. Dude, take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
So I mean, I'm big on crypto, so I support that huge bill he passed yesterday and stuff like that.
What does that bill even do? I haven't looked into it.
So it has to do with like American ran cryptos. There's less taxes being paid on that stuff.
Less taxes being paid on what specifically?
On like when you're selling your crypto and transferring it, you're not going to be paying nearly as much taxes. Beforehand, the capital gains was what, like 50, 55 something percent. It's more than what it is in the stock market. With American cryptos, it's going down quite some. And
what is it going down to?
I think it's going down to like 20% with American, or like 20, 30%, something like that, which is really good for.
Do you think that you could give me like a fact sheet or like a source to demonstrate the points of the bill and what they do?
I can't necessarily give you a fact sheet. That's just what I'm hearing around.
Okay.
I mean, we were in the bull run right now, but
no, definitely big bull run, bro. Huge bull run right now. Huge. Dude,
yes,
have you seen XRP?
Yes, sir. I'm in XRP. I've been in since 50 cents.
Oh man, so
not in Bitcoin, unfortunately.
You make money. Like your net worth is fucking pumped right now.
It's been going up. The past week we're up 35% all around the board. So
yeah.
Hey, it's just getting started. But I just gotta ask, is what? I mean, obviously there's reasons to why you don't support Trump. And like a generality, I mean, I'm looking at the like prices. The gas prices are going a little bit down. I mean, from what they were 2 years ago. I mean, I'm in a better position than when I was 2 years ago, as like economy wise.
What, dude? If you've been in XRP since 50 cents, of course you're going to be in a better position than you were.
Well, listen, obviously I'm getting older, so I'm getting more better jobs, but like obviously I'm making more money on that behalf of things. But I'm just looking at like things going down. Like what makes you not support? Like, because I just see a bunch of good stuff going on with the economy and stuff like that. Stock market's reaching all-time highs. Yes, it had its dip, which was a little like it was a tariff dip. It was kind of a market manipulation, which I can kind of agree with you there. It was a market manipulation. A bunch of rich people were selling out. A lot of people lost money, but a lot of people made a lot of money on that dip. But that's just my question. Why don't you support Trump?
Well, for sure. Before I tell you why I don't support Trump, I want to respond to a couple points that you just brought up. So you started talking about the Genius Act, saying that it does something to help people invest in crypto. I mean, listen, I've heard the same thing, even from people on the left. Like I even had like a bunch of Democrats in Congress. They reached out to my managers and they asked me to promote the Genius Act because they thought it was a good bill. So that seemed pretty bipartisan. I'm not aware of the specifics because I'm not too focused on crypto. However, I would like probably rank crypto as like the least of my concerns as it relates to what matters to me in America right now. Like I'm going to be much more focused on like people first. Like I think that the mass deportation is a significantly bigger deal than crypto. I think that women not having access to abortion is a significantly bigger deal than crypto. I think that the average American and everybody beneath the average American income wise losing more in their after-tax income because of the big beautiful bill is significantly more important than crypto. But like, do I like crypto? Yeah. I mean, like you seem like you invested yourself. So, I mean, you'll probably know what a ledger is. I've been holding on to a ledger and a couple wallets on Ethereum and Bitcoin since like 2020. So, I mean, I've been in for a while, dude. But anyways, to kind of answer your question insofar as why I don't like Trump, it's just because I genuinely think that he's kind of an incompetent guy. He's not too good at making or drafting policy that helps America. I think the big beautiful bill proved that. I think his inability to achieve a single trade agreement in the last 170 days proves that. I think his inability to effectively end the war between Russia and Ukraine proved that. He thought that he'd be doing something good by revoking funding for Ukraine. Turned out that just emboldened Russia to hit them harder since they were weaker. So now he's reversed that policy. And then on top of that, I think a lot of his policy is also pretty authoritarian. I don't think that he has much respect for checks and balances. I mean, he's been straight up passing executive orders that explicitly violate the Constitution just because he wants it to, like the order banning birthright citizenship. That was super disrespectful to the backbone of this country. And then a lot of the things that he's been doing are incredibly immoral. You know, like sending immigrants illegally to a center for terrorists to be beaten and tortured for 3 weeks, like with Abrigo Garcia and Seacott in El Salvador. And then it's like I already said, his economic policy is really bad for low-income Americans, stripping millions of their health care, stripping millions of their food assistance, stripping millions of students from their free school lunches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, you just told us, well, I mean, maybe the broader economy is looking good, gas is going down, stocks are going up. I don't think I'd be able to identify any really specific thing that Donald Trump has done to make any of these things better outside of maybe just promote consumer confidence for specifically the crypto markets with the Genius Act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my question there, so you talked about deportation and stuff. Obviously there's some messed up things going on that behalf of things. But why wasn't it a problem when Obama was doing what he did? He had a huge mass deportation. What was that, 2012, something like that? There was no issues with that. Why weren't the Democrats all like mad about when Obama was doing all that stuff? Why is it only when Trump does X, Y, Z? It's always when Trump does this, never when the Democrats. Like, why aren't they like? Why doesn't it matter when Obama did it? Like,
Well, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons. First of all, the Democratic Party has gotten significantly more progressive in the last 12 to 15 years. In 2012, Obama was openly anti-gay marriage. That was the platform of the Democratic Party, right? Look at how far we've come in the last 12 to 15 years, okay? So I think that point needs to be pointed out. So even at the end of the day, it's not necessarily a point of hypocrisy. It's probably more so a point of societal enlightenment. Okay, but even apart from that, we have a couple other points as well. And another big difference would be the fact that Obama focused on deporting individuals with prior violent offenses. My evidence of this wasn't only his own testimony, but he also created work programs like DACA for undocumented immigrants without prior violent offenses. Meanwhile, Trump is focused on deporting literally every single undocumented immigrant in this country. And Obama didn't illegally deport anybody. He didn't violate their constitutional rights. And he also didn't make glorified detention centers like Alligator Alcatraz and sell merch when the detainees are only getting fed one meal a day, some of those meals with maggots. And to take it even one step further, I will say I would disagree with any deportation under Obama of undocumented immigrant without prior violent offenses.
No, I mean, I can't really argue with you there. I mean,
Well, so argue with me about the mass deportation as a whole. Are you a fan of the removal of undocumented immigrants?
I don't think illegal immigrants should be in this country to begin with. I mean, they came here illegally when there's a legal way to do it by getting your green card, and it takes years to do it. But I mean, I get what they're doing, like going over illegally for opportunity to make some more money, which I get that. But there's a legal process of getting in the country, and I believe that's how they should be doing it.
So you think they should be removed because they entered illegally?
Yes, I think, and most countries are the same way. I mean, even Mexico does that. I'm pretty sure they do, at least. I'm pretty sure they don't allow illegal people to stay in the country.
I don't like your view.
Why don't we have that?
The reason I don't like your view here is because you're making the suggestion that we should have. I gotta sneeze. We should have this very black and white view on legality, which holds a suggestion that we should enforce the law no matter what the law is or what kind of impacts it has on our country. I think that it's the obligation of the state to draft and enforce law that makes the country better. And it's also the obligation of the state to either get rid of or rewrite law that makes the country worse. You know, like, for instance, I don't think that we should do a mass deportation if it bears incredibly negative material outcomes for this country and everybody in it. And it does. It has a significant impact on our economy. Wiping out trillions of dollars of GDP growth per year has a significant impact on our labor markets, removing 8.3 million of our employees. That's a massive layoff, if you ask me. And has a significant impact on the consumer market, just destroying 12 million consumers, Thanos snapping them out of thin air, and it spends $2 trillion to get it done in 10 years. There has to be a better solution that doesn't so negatively impact this country. And I think the suggestion that we should go with this solution, even though it negatively impacts the country, is taking such a very strong detour from the suggestion of putting this country first. I think that a true American first patriot would stand in very mighty disdain of mass deportation. I think a significantly better way to go about things is to likely offer undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship, and then make citizenship easier for all immigrants trying to attain legal immigration.
I can agree with you there. I just think on as far as like with having all these illegal immigrants here, it's causing an influx in the housing market, making it almost impossible for new home buyers to actually afford a home in your 20s. Like the average home buyer right now is in their mid 40s or early 40s, something like that. It has something to do with the housing market going up.
I think undocumented immigrants actually. I think that undocumented immigrants actually drive the pricing of houses down.
How can you argue that? Because
I could tell you
the supply and demand. Because right now there's not enough supply, therefore there's too much demand, making the price go up.
I'll make it clear. Because they're more likely to participate in the supply side of housing. 1 out of every 7 construction workers is an undocumented immigrant. And they're less likely to participate in the demand side of housing. They can't get loans to buy houses from banks, so they're not even participating in house ownership. And then on the renting side of things, because they collect and garner lower wages on average and don't qualify for federal systems of benefit like Section 8, Medicaid, or food stamps, they're less likely to rent and more likely to live in larger or groups of individuals in a single building. And for those reasons, they would have a positive impact on the supply side and a positive impact on the demand side for driving the pricing of houses down.
I don't necessarily agree with you there.
What did I say that was
demand,
incorrect?
Well, to me personally, when I think of demand, when there's high demand for something, there's low supply. It drives the prices up. Right now, there's not enough homes in the U.S.
Could you just repeat my argument just to make sure that you understood where I was coming from?
I honestly, it kind of went over my head.
Don't worry, Matt.
So on the tariff.
Don't worry, Matt. I'll repeat it.
I'm kind of more so on my main argument's the tariffs.
Well, before we get into the tariffs, so let me repeat it for the housing market. Undocumented immigrants are more likely to participate in the supply side of housing, and undocumented immigrants are less likely to participate in the demand side of housing. So they have a
repeat that again?
They're more likely to participate in the supply side of housing. They're more likely to build houses than citizens. 1 out of every 7 construction workers is an undocumented immigrant. And they're less likely to participate in the demand side of housing because they can't get loans to buy houses, and they don't qualify for any federal systems of benefit to rent. Plus, a lot of renters won't even rent to undocumented immigrants.
All right, that makes sense.
So this shows that they actually drive the pricing of houses down. And if you're concerned about houses or the pricing of houses, Trump should be your last man. I mean, think about it. Who was running in the general election? Kamala Harris was running in the general election. She had policy to build 4 million houses in like 4 years. And Donald Trump has no housing affordability policy. In fact, his policy is only estimated to increase the pricing of houses. I mean, he just imposed 35% tariffs on Canada. What do we get from Canada? Lumber. What do we use lumber for? To build houses. He also imposed 35% tariffs on Mexico. What do we get from Mexico? Steel and tile. What do we use steel and tile to build houses? So not only did he not run or possess housing affordability policy like Kamala Harris did in the election, but his tariff policy actively increases the pricing of houses.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, I mean, I can't really debate you on that behalf of things. But as far as tariffs go, I mean, how is this? I mean, I get it drives prices up. Like, I know that behalf of thing. How is it bad for the country? Because the country's making money off of this. We're generating revenue. We're generating more revenue than we were a year ago.
No, for sure.
So how is it bad for the economy? Because as a whole, it's going to help out the U.S. It's a short-term pain for a long-term gain. That's my whole outlook on tariffs. Like, we're gonna see a bad first 2 years, and then boom, the economy's gonna be. My theory, the economy will be booming once things get settled as far as tariffs goes. It's been like a tariff war the past 5-6 months. Him saying he's gonna do tariffs, him saying the next day he's not gonna do tariffs, him saying, oh, the tariffs are now this, that, this. You know what I'm saying, but.
He made 2
points.
What
exactly?
The first point that you made there was that tariffs are generating more capital for a government. And the second point that you made there is that tariffs will give us a long-term gain for short-term pain. To respond to your first point that tariffs are generating more capital for government, you're right. That's typically what happens when you tax people more. But who's this tax being disproportionately paid for? Low-income Americans, because those tariffs are passed off to the consumers, and the less money you make, the greater proportion of your income you spend on the bare necessities to live, meaning the greater proportion of your income you spend on the increase in prices caused by those tariffs, meaning the greater proportion of your income you're spending on that tax. So all the additional capital being generated for a government through tariffs is just a regressive tax that hurts you more the less money you make. I don't think that's a system of taxation that we should support.
So when are we going to see the price increases? As of right now, I haven't necessarily seen anything gone up in the past 6 months or so. I mean,
because you haven't been looking.
Maybe your drink goes up, maybe 10. That's interest. Inflation every year goes up regardless. But inflation's at a low.
But we'll have more inflation because of the tariffs.
But technically, inflation's at a 5-year low. As of what 3 weeks ago.
And then it'd be a lower point if he wasn't imposing the tariffs.
Okay, well, we're still in a better standpoint as we were when Biden was in office. So, and as you know, Kamala was supporting
Kamala's how you
Biden
pronounce her name.
Oh, my bad on that.
No worries.
Just so
I mean, actually, we had better projections for inflation if Kamala Harris was elected, since her policy was significantly less expensive and didn't manufacture inflation out of thin air like tariffs do. And I'll give you a defense for both of those points. The reason why I say her policy was less expensive was simply because that's what the projections told us, as well as that's what reality describes today. Today, we see that Donald Trump is signing the most expensive policy we've ever seen into law. That has led to the feds drop the rate at which they're reducing our are interest rates, and has led core inflation to start rising for the first time in a year and a half. And then about the second point, that her policy didn't manufacture inflation out of thin air. It's because it didn't. That's what Donald Trump's tariff policy is doing. At the end of the day, the massive corporate producers in China don't operate at profit margins to just simply consume a 35% tariff. Neither do the massive corporate importers of Chinese goods in America. So ultimately, if either of those companies want to stay in business, either the super big producers in China or the super big importers in America, they'll have to pass that tariff off to the consumer just to stay in the green, right? So we know that these policies manufacture tariff. That we know that this policy manufactures inflation.
Okay, yeah. All right, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I don't really got too much else to argue, but one thing I will ask, so why do Democrats blame Trump for 4 years when the Democrats ran office in the last 20 years? Something like that. The past, 4 presidents were Democrats outside one. Why do we blame one president when he had a great first term for all the bad stuff that's been going on in the world?
What specific bad stuff?
Well, for example, I mean, it's starting to get better, a little bit better now. I mean, because Trump's bad. I just think the world's getting better now that Trump's
what bad things do you think Democrats unjustly blame on Trump?
Well, they blame they were blaming the inflation from they say that they were saying when Biden was at the end of Biden's term, we were going the election was going on. They're like, the reason why it was so bad is because what Trump did 4 years ago when he left office.
What was so bad?
Well, I don't know it was so bad. They would just blame Trump for all the economy being shit for the past 4 years.
What about the economy being shit? You have to be specific here.
Well, let's put into perspective. All right, so Trump handled COVID. Can you agree that Trump handled 90% of COVID because he handled the worst of it? Can you agree there?
I wouldn't agree to 90%. He definitely handled a lot of it, but not 90%. But could you please go back to telling me what Democrats blame on Trump that you think they shouldn't blame on Trump?
They blame they were blaming inflation. Well, I mean, this is just something I see in gas prices. Probably just uneducated people. They're blaming gas prices when Biden got rid of the Keystone pipeline that was making us produce oil and driving gas prices down. He got rid of that the first day. They were blaming him on gas prices. They're blaming him on inflation.
Okay. Well, point number one, I don't think I've ever heard a single Democrat blame the inflation onset by the pandemic under the Biden-Harris administration on Trump. And I'm pretty tuned in with what Democrats are saying, right? I've never heard a single Democrat do that. I think that you just made that up on the spot. Now, saying that Biden increased gas prices by shutting down this Keystone XL pipeline, that didn't reduce our own production of gasoline or oil because the Keystone XL pipeline was a Canadian pipeline to import Canadian oil into America, and B, that didn't drive up gas prices because it was still under construction, which meant it was not increasing the oil supply curve, which meant when it shut down, it didn't reduce the oil supply curve. So it wasn't producing American oil, and it didn't drive up prices when it was shut down. Plus, it was also shut down under Trump's administration twice, once in 2017 and once in 2018. Plus, if you actually look at the Energy Information Administration, EIA.gov, you'll see that this country, America, has never produced more oil than it did under the Biden-Harris administration.
Okay, so what drove gas prices up under Biden's thing? Because I thought it was the Keystone Pipeline. That's
Beautiful question. A massive reduction in imports. A huge reduction in imports because OPEC reduced their production by 10%, and Russia also produces a shit ton of oil, and we sanctioned all of it. We no longer bought any of it because they started ethnically cleansing Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. So why did gas prices start going down the second Trump got back in office?
Well,
he's done much.
Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you that too. It wasn't the second. In fact, it was even a little bit before the election.
It was before, because that's what happens every time when the election comes around. The gas prices
not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think that nationwide average gas prices started going down 3 months after he was elected, and that reason was because he crashed the stock market with his tariffs on Liberation Day, which also crashed future markets, particularly oil future markets. So importers and producers and sellers were buying future barrels of oil for very low prices. And then once they actually attained those barrels of oil, we saw that the price of gas was down. However, that was a recession indicator, so that wasn't a good thing. Plus, we have also seen a massive decline in imports of oil. I think in the first quarter of this year, we saw them go down by 44%. And that should have meant that oil prices went up, but because he crashed the future market, oil prices were going down. But all this means is now that the future market is fixed because he revoked his Liberation Day tariffs and imports are still down because he still has some tariffs on effect and some of our largest importers such as Canada, that we will now expect gas prices to increase again.
All right. Well, hey, we'll see when the time comes. But yeah, that's all I really got for you today. I see other people trying to get in the thing. But yeah, you have a good rest of your day. Everyone who's listening, invest into AVAX, ADA, XLM, HBAR. We about to get rich.
Bro, what's going on with what's going on with AVAX? Is that up?
AVAX is. I'm just very invested into it. They had a huge deal with a video game company. I think it was FIFA. It was like a month or two back. I've just always been big on Avalanche. It's when I really invest. I'm really big on like researching it.
See, I
love their project.
I was big in Avalanche in like 2021, 2022. In fact, I think I put some money in it, but I think I'm still down. I think I'm still down from 2022.
Probably bought in at the high, dude. My first bull run was last bull run, and I was buying every week at like, you'd see $100. I'm like, let me buy more. I see $180. Let me buy more, and then it crashed.
Dude, the big crash. Dude, it hit AVAX. It hit Solana. Remember, dude, that was like the great crypto recession. But anyways,
dude, it was terrible. Every bull run, it does the same thing, but then it slowly goes back up. But hey, that's all that matters. You know, we're back in it. Gonna make the gains. I just figured before I went, because I know I've been on it for some time, I wanted to let you guys know the secret sauce where you're gonna make the dough, you know?
Right. We'll take that with a grain of salt, everybody. Matt, I appreciate you for coming up, man, and I hope that you stop being a Trump supporter. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you have a good rest of your day as well.
All right, what's going on? Suck it, libs. Do you support Trump?
You're fucking.
Okay. Goodbye. We're going to move on to the next guest. Somebody has some anger issues. My apologies. Dave, thank you so much for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. I appreciate that. Dave, can we get 100 Dave W's down below in those live chats? Thank you so much. As well as Zena, thank you so much for the $20 Super Chat over on YouTube. I appreciate that. Zena says, how do you feel with Trump supporters turning against him? Would you continue to do debates? I'm going to continue to do debates until we run out of Trump supporters. I'm not going to lie. A lot are turning against him right now, which is a good thing. Let's get 200 Zena W's. That is XENA down below in that chat. Thank you so much for the love, dude. If you are watching and you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms. We actually have 2 donations over on Venmo. Kayla, thank you for the $3 on Venmo, and Rachel with a 6. I appreciate you guys so much. Once again, you can find the Venmo and the PayPal and the link tree in my bio, y'all. Welcome in, Kenny. Do you support Trump?
I wouldn't say so, but I grew up in...
All right. Sorry, Kenny. We got to move on here. We are just looking for people that would say so. I do hope you have a good rest of your day, and thank you so much for coming up. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Make sure that we're double tapping away in that phone screen. Here we go.
Yo, fuck you.
Jesus Christ, Mason. We got another real winner. What is it going on with the Trump supporters today? Can we, like, I don't know, turn our brains on, possibly? We're just looking for some debates here, everybody, like with intelligence and knowledge and fact. I don't know. It seems like it's something they can't do. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Do just kind of give us a minute, y'all. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, well, you got quite the background noise. How old are you?
I'm 9.
You're 9? Okay, bye, Casper. Can't have a 9-year-old on my stream. Moving on to Mr. Steppa. Here we go, everybody. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded into the live stream. Make sure that we're double tapping, everybody. Let's try to get up to 400,000 likes, y'all. Put a maggot down below in that comment section with your age if you'd like to come up and have a conversation with me. We got 8645 loading in right now, everybody. Right now. Hello, do you support Trump?
Oh my God, I shouldn't be on here. I don't know what happened.
No worries at all. No worries at all. No worries at all. Moving on to the next guest. Miss Steph is loaded up. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Let's see what that next guest has to say, y'all. Let's see what that next guest has to say. Welcome in, Miss Steppa. Do you support Trump? Hi, ma'am. Ma'am. She's not here. Goodbye. All right, right now we have 5.4 thousand people in the TikTok stream, but we only have like 20 guest requests. Painted J-Man, thank you so much for the $5 over on YouTube Super Chat. I appreciate you for your kind words there. That's very kind, Painted J-Man. Welcome in, Richard. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Age, please?
20.
20? What year were you born in, Richard?
2000.
Ah, Richard, it is literally 2005. I fear that a fourth grader could have done the math on that one. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute to get Koala Man up here. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go ahead and get, Koala Man up here. Yo, Tay FR, I sent you an invite up. I'd love to have a chat. Tay FR in the chat says that I'm scamming people or some shit like that. You should join the live, Tay. Sent you that invite. Love to have you up. Moving on. Here we go, everybody. Hello, do you support Trump,
Cookie
Michael?
mods you. Cookie mods you.
So
Cookie mods
real.
you.
The Melt
Cookie
Maxine.
mods.
The Melt Maxine just mugs me, truly. The Melt Maxine, it just does it. It just does it. It just does the trick. Moving on. Here we go, everybody. Somebody in the chat says that I look rough. I don't know. I didn't get too much sleep last night. That's probably why. Welcome in, Ryan. Do you support Trump?
No, hell no. This was an accident. Sorry, man.
Dude, no worries at all. Make sure we're in that queue that you're MAGA. I would like to qualify. I'd like to clarify. Please only join that queue if you support Trump. Please, please, please. Elvia, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm doing great. Do you support Trump?
Hi, no, but I have a question.
Elvia, with all due respect, you've been in the queue since I started the live stream. I know that you've heard me repeat the rules. Elvia, please follow the rules. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. We're going to get that next guest loaded up into the stream. Welcome in, Big Meat. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, how you doing?
You know, Big Meat, I'm actually doing great. I'm having a good day. I'm having a great day, just shitting on the Trump supporters and defending the progressive worldview. I'm defending the truthful worldview. Why don't you take it away and tell us why you support Trump?
I support Trump because he's got a fat ass.
Very, very, very nice. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go. Put a MAGA with your age down below in that comment section if you'd like to join. I don't know what's going on right now. We can't find a single Trump supporter. If there's anybody that actually wants to come up here and talk, do let me know. I'll happily have you up. I'll happily have you up, everybody. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Oh my God, Dean, I love you so much. I actually love you so much.
Thank you for the love, Alex, but please do follow the rules. If everybody continues to break the rules, then we just simply won't have any debates. You probably love me because of the debates, but if everybody breaks the rules to come up here and tell me because you love me because of the debates, all of a sudden we don't have any debates. Welcome in, the chum. Do you support Trump?
I have anxiety. I'm sorry.
No worries. Moving on to Bladder. Here we go, everybody. Put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat. Hello, hello. Do you support Trump?
What flavor vape you got there, bud?
Right now I'm rocking lavender and caramel, and it's not a vape, it's an anxiety pin. Let's get our facts straight, Mr. Batter.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. You can call it friggin' gasoline, petrol. It don't matter. A vape's a vape.
Okay, why do you support Trump, Batter?
Didn't say I supported Trump.
Well, the country accent and the lack of media literacy to determine that's a joke sells it for me. I know that you're MAGA. Tell us why.
So you assuming what I'm doing?
Based upon a preponderance of the two facts I just gave you, yes.
Well, you wrong.
So you don't support Trump?
I don't support nobody.
Okay. Well, you should probably leave the live then.
I'll do whatever I want. But I got...
Boom! Hello, what's going on, Z-Pip? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do, brother.
All right, how do you? I can't hear you when you're off app. You have to be able to see me for me to be able to hear you. You're 21, sweet. Isabel, thank you for the $5 over at PayPal. They said, yo, I just got PayPal for this, and I wanted to ask you, please, next time says it's a VAPE. When they ask you, say it's an anxiety pin. I got you. As well as Hayden, thank you for the $10 over at PayPal as well. Let's see 100 Hayden W's down below in that comment section. Hayden says, hey, Dean, love having you on in the morning. Love having you on in the background at work. Keep up the amazing work you do, brother. Thank you so much for the $10 and the very kind message, Hayden. Show some love to our donors down below in that chat. And Z-Pip, take it away. Why do you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald J. Trump?
When it comes to border security, I think he's done a good job with that. Start with that.
I don't know. You have some feedback on your mic there, but no, he actually hasn't. What has he done for border security that's been like a long-term positive? Tell me what his long-term plan is for border security.
Well, the new bill he just passed, the extra funding that's going to support ICE
ICE isn't border security. That's going to be an immigration enforcement agency that focuses on the removal of undocumented immigrants already in the country.
So do you think undocumented immigrants who didn't come in the right way, they should be allowed to stay in the country?
Do I think they should be allowed to stay in the country? Yes. Does it have anything to do with the original statement you made? No.
So in other countries, undocumented people can't just come in illegally to the country and stay there as long as they please.
Okay, in other countries, they also have universal health care, so it seems like there's other things that other countries also do that both you and me disagree with. Purdy, thank you so much for the motorcycles. I appreciate you so much for the love.
So can you break down this big, great bill that he passed and kind of what the tax breaks that it's doing for not just, the upper class that it was originally thought upon, but, the lower, the middle, and upper class altogether?
Well, once again, a huge detour away from your original points, but that's fine. I'll entertain it. Sure. It's really bad for the average American and everybody below the average American because of its massive cuts to Medicaid, SNAP benefits, science, intellectuals in the arts, alongside after-school programs for school students. For that reason, the Center on Budget and Policy Priority tells us, although low-income Americans are getting a marginal tax break, they're still going to lose more in their after-tax income due to all the reasons I just gave you and more, such as rolling back some of the clean energy credits from policy passed by Biden, which is expected to reduce the productive capacity of clean energy producers by 72%, which is expected to raise the price of energy for the average American household by $400 per year. So why do you support policy that not just costs $5 trillion, amounting to the most expensive policy ever passed through the American Congress, but also some of the most harmful policy we've seen in modern American history, stripping healthcare away from 17 million Americans, increasing the price of energy for everybody, and taking away food stamp benefits for 3 million Americans, and free school student lunches for 18 million school students in this country?
So this kind of brings us back a little bit to the whole Doge thing that was implemented, just getting rid of some of the unuseful waste and then making people kind of either prove that, the healthcare or the food stamps they're using, they're in need of these things and it's not just going to waste. And also, kind of putting some skin in the game and working to receive those benefits, not just getting those handouts.
So you're just talking to your out of your ass, right?
Do you have legit statistics that you're pulling up?
Yes. But I know that you don't, because you just told us that the reason why 3 million people are going to be cut off of SNAP benefits is because of a new work requirement. So we've actually always had a work requirement imposed on SNAP. You just said that baselessly, right? Admit it. It's fine. Like we're here to have a productive conversation. If you say something that's not true, baseless, I'm going to call you out on it. You could do the same thing for me.
So basically, how did it change from how it was before to how it is now?
Yeah, because they defunded it by $156 billion per year, and that burden is going to be bumped back to the states. Some of the blue states are going to be able to cover it since, blue states account for 72% of the American GDP. But a lot of the smaller red states, they ultimately won't be able to cover the bill that the federal government is now putting on them by defunding federal SNAP benefits. Thereby, they're going to have to kick a lot of people off. So, yeah.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
All right. Obviously, that's bad, right?
In some aspects, yes.
In some aspects. Why not all aspects? In what aspects is it good to stop giving low-income Americans that are working food stamps?
Because I've seen firsthand, too, that I've worked food drives firsthand and seen the people that are coming to these food drives and picking up this food, they're driving nicer vehicles than I drive myself.
Okay. Food drives aren't food stamps. What are you talking about?
Dean, man.
Come on, there's a difference between them. Food drives aren't food stamps. We're talking about food stamps.
Food stamps, yes. I understand, yep. I have a question for you, though, Dean.
Okay.
What's your share on everything that's going on with the border security stuff? Back to that. Why do you think the stuff we're doing is, that Trump's kind of put in place is not as good as it was before under the Biden administration?
Well, for sure, because the reason why we've seen a reduction in undocumented entries is because he's scaring them away by violating the human and constitutional rights of undocumented immigrants that are already in this country. It's the same reason why we've seen a reduction in tourism or travel for leisure / business into this country. A, it's bad because it's just super immoral. Fucking duh. And B, it's bad because it's short term. The moment that we have a president that's not a total fascist with a disdain for human rights, that incentive structure is going to be reversed.
So my question is, do you think if an undocumented immigrant comes into the country illegally and they commit violent crimes, you think they should stay in our country?
No, I think that they should be deported. If a citizen commits violent crimes, do you think they should be able to stay president?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, then why do you support Trump? He's been held civilly liable for the violent sexual abuse of a woman, as well as he is a convicted 34-count felon.
I'm looking at the overall policies, though, not necessarily him as a person.
So you do think they should be able to stay president?
It's hard to say, Dean. I see both sides of the argument, though.
Okay, all right. Well, then why is it so easy to say that all undocumented immigrants should be deported for a misdemeanor?
Not just misdemeanors, but violent crimes. And I don't necessarily support all of the taking away, breaking up families and stuff like that.
I just want to clarify. No, it is just misdemeanors. He wants to deport every undocumented immigrant in this country. The only crime that every undocumented immigrant in this country is guilty of is a misdemeanor.
Again, I don't fully support that side. I support the people that have committed violent crimes, getting those people out.
Okay, I do too. So did Obama. So did Biden. So did Kamala Harris.
And I think that a lot of the reason why a lot of kind of hate and people have this distrust or unlike with Trump is kind of the way he goes about things. I think inherent some of his policies have good things behind him, but the way he goes about it and puts it into action doesn't always come across as good.
I don't know about that one. I have a question. Do you think that Donald Trump knew what Epstein was doing when he was best friends with Epstein?
I'll be honest with you. I'm not necessarily up in the loop with all of that stuff that's going on with the Epstein stuff. I know what happened recently that the New York Times or something was going to release something.
Wall Street Journal. Let me ask you a question. If somebody was like best friends with Ted Bundy when Ted Bundy was serial killing, and this best friend sent Ted Bundy a letter that said, "May every new day be another wonderful secret," with a picture of a decapitated head on a plate. Would you say that we have more than enough reason to believe that Ted Bundy's best friend knew exactly what Ted Bundy was doing?
Well, they didn't know what he was doing. It took them a while for him to catch them. No one was up, knew what was going on.
We're not talking about like law enforcement. We're talking about Ted Bundy's hypothetical best friend.
I mean, that's hard to say.
I don't think it's hard to say at all. If Ted Bundy's hypothetical best friend sent him a letter saying, "May every new day be another wonderful secret," with a picture of a decapitated head on a plate, why would it be hard to say that Ted Bundy's hypothetical best friend here obviously knew what Ted Bundy was doing?
It could mean a number of different things, Dean.
What could it mean?
You'd have to infer that. Just because someone does that doesn't necessarily mean they're up to anything.
Well, it means that they definitely know what Ted Bundy's up to, though, right?
Maybe.
Not a maybe. It's like an obvious duh. Right? That's like obvious. Like hypothetically, if Ted Bundy had a best friend that was best friends with him for 10 years, drove in his car, hung out with him at his house, was his best friend, went to parties with him, was always out and socializing with him for like over 10 years. And we found this secret letter that he sent to Ted Bundy talking cryptically about something that Ted Bundy thinks is more important than wealth. And it included the line, "May every day be another wonderful secret." And this letter included the drawn picture of a decapitated head on a plate. Okay, obviously Ted Bundy's friend here is going to know exactly what Ted Bundy is doing, not just because he was best friends with him for 10 years and was always out with him, but also definitely because of this letter, which included a picture of a decapitated head on a plate, right?
I'm following you. Yep, I'm following
Obviously, you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if like somebody's a friend with like a big time child rapist, and he was best friends with this child rapist for like 10, 15 years, was always seen out in public with him, was always at his house, on his plane, said he was his best friend, etc. And he sent this child rapist a letter including the picture of a naked body of a woman and included the line, "May every other day be a new wonderful secret." Obviously, this child rapist hypothetical best friend would know exactly what the child rapist was doing, right?
Potentially. This hasn't been released though yet? It's all hypothetical?
Yeah, just hypotheticals. Hypothetically, this child rapist's best friend would know exactly what the child rapist was doing, right?
Potentially.
No, why is it potentially for the hypothetical of a child rapist and their best friend, but obviously and not potentially for the hypothetical of Ted Bundy and his best friend? I think that we should yield to both conclusions in both cases. If Ted Bundy's BSF sent him a picture of a decapitated head on a plate, they knew what Ted Bundy was doing. If a child rapist's best friend sent a letter with a depiction of a naked woman signed, "May every other day be a new wonderful secret," obviously they knew what the child rapist was doing, right?
I'll give you that.
Okay. Well, Trump was literally Epstein's best friend in the 90s. And according to new reports from the Wall Street Journal, Trump literally did send Epstein a letter with a depiction of a naked woman signed "Happy Birthday, may every new day be a new wonderful secret." The conclusion that you just gave me was a conclusion that Donald J. Trump was best friends with a billionaire child rapist and human trafficker that invested millions and millions and millions of dollars into a private island to just uphold the exploitation and rape of children for 15 years and has been covering up every single day since the 90s. Why is that somebody you'd want to be president?
I'd kind of, with all the hypotheticals, I'd kind of like to wait to see how this plays out and what sort of happens with this, because
nothing we just discussed is hypotheticals. It already did play out. This was released and reported on 2 days ago.
So this is something that's going to go to the court, and they'll kind of make a decision on that.
Make a decision about what?
What you're saying, if that actually happened, if that's real, if that's the actual account.
Oh, so you just wait to see what the outcome of that civil court lawsuit would be?
I would, yeah.
And you trust the outcome of that civil court?
Before I jump to conclusions, yeah. I think our justice system can kind of decide that.
Okay, so you also trust the outcome of the civil court in which adjudicated that Donald Trump was guilty of raping a woman in 1996?
And when was that?
A civil court that concluded in 2023. That held Trump liable for the violent sexual abuse / rape of Eugene Carroll in the year 1996?
Yep. If our justice system came upon that, yeah, I believe that.
Okay, so why do you support a rapist as president?
I didn't say I necessarily supported him. I said I supported the policies that his administration has brought out.
Okay, so you don't support Trump?
Not necessarily as a person, but I'm more focusing on the administration as a whole and the policies that I like better than the past administration.
So you just make a clear and separate distinction between who he is as a person and what he's doing for his policy.
Yes.
So if he didn't grape Eugene Carroll as a woman in 1996, but rather graped Katie Johnson, a 13-year-old with Jeffrey Epstein, as another lawsuit alleged, you would still support him as president today, given that he ran on the same policy.
I'm not disagreeing with you that, rape is a crime, that it shouldn't be allowed no matter who does it. I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all.
But would you still support Trump and his presidency if he did grape Katie Johnson?
I would say no.
So you'd hold a red line against child grape, but not the grape of an adult woman. Why is that?
Either. They're both bad.
Okay, so both are a good enough reason for you to stop supporting Trump. Is that what you're saying?
I still like the policies at place.
So neither are enough reason to get you to stop supporting Trump as president? Which one is it?
It's hard to say, Dean. I definitely don't think that...
Well, I mean, debates are supposed to be asking the pressing questions, and even if it's hard to give a response, I sure would appreciate one.
No, I don't.
So no, you wouldn't support Trump as president if he was guilty of child rape or guilty of raping an adult woman?
Yep.
Well, I mean, you agreed that he was guilty of raping an adult woman. What does that tell us about your support for the man today?
It's something that, I haven't, I don't have all the information, Dean. It seems like you're a lot more educated in that stuff, so I don't know all kind of the background that, that goes into it.
No, man, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. That is the purpose of these live streams.
Can I ask you a question, though, pivoting focus just like on the economy and stuff? So I'm really invested into a lot of stocks and cryptocurrency. Do you think that since this new administration, the economy and jobs have, flourished?
By flourish, what do you mean? Like been better? As the unemployment rate? Does the unemployment go down?
African Americans, Hispanic, women hitting all-time lows.
Wait, they're at an all-time low right now?
You tell me.
Okay, I will tell you. Let's see. Let's see. No, it actually looks like they were lower before his inauguration, and they've gone up since his inauguration.
So the economic growth, like the S&P 500.
No, I'm talking about unemployment. In January of this year, unemployment was at 4%. Then it went up to 4.2%. So it's gone up since his inauguration.
Okay. But I still think the policies he's put in place has helped.
Like which ones?
The Great Big Bill.
I think that was a terrible policy that just disenfranchised low-income Americans. It's kicking 17 million of them off of Medicaid, 3 million of them off of food stamps, and kicking 18 million students in school off of free school student lunches.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's a policy we should support. Not to mention that all these things in culmination are costing our government $4 trillion over the course of the next 10 years.
You don't see good from it, though.
Do I see good from it? I think it's good that maybe people making $60,000 per year will have a higher after-tax income. That's good. I just think that the bad outweighs the good.
Okay. And do you think that, I don't necessarily support the way he went about all the tariffs with the other countries, but it seems like he's brought people, a lot of different countries, to kind of the talking table after years and years of kind of a one-sided deal and being taken advantage by a lot of different countries.
What trade deals has he achieved in the last 160 days? What signed trade deals has he achieved?
He's bringing people to the table now to talk.
So no signed trade deals in the last 160 days?
We're renegotiating.
So we're still negotiating. Well, I'd say that you'd probably have to hold off and make that claim after he finishes negotiating. You know, he said that he'd have 90 trade deals in the first 90 days in office. Now we're 160 days in office and we still have 0 signed trade deals.
Yeah, we're at least we're at the talking table.
Right, at least we're talking. Well, I guess we'll have to see what the outcomes of those talks are before that's a talking point.
Okay, that's fair.
Ah, well, dude. Yeah, dude. I mean, how do you feel about the big, beautiful bill? Do you think there's more good than bad? I mean, I was able to describe the bad to you. What's the good?
I think it's something that it's going to take a while to kind of feel the full impact. No, it just kind of started.
What's the full impact we're going to feel in a while that makes it a good bill?
It's hard to say.
Well, it's not hard to say what the negative outcomes are, but apparently it's hard to say what the positive outcomes are. So how could you fault me for thinking it's a bad bill?
I guess we'll see.
No, answer my question. You can't name any positive outcomes now or in the future. I can name about 1 billion negative outcomes now and in the future. So why can you call me the bad guy for saying it's a bad bill? And how could you possibly say it's a good bill if you know that there's bad outcomes, but you don't know there's good outcomes? Like, think about it. You don't know there's good outcomes. And if you did know there was good outcomes, you'd be able to tell me that. You'd be able to qualify them. I know there's bad outcomes. And because I know there's bad outcomes, I was able to qualify them. Millions of people losing healthcare. Millions of students losing free school student lunches. Millions of people losing food stamps. Energy costing more for everybody because rolling back on clean energy tax credits. I know that these are all the negative outcomes. What are the positive outcomes that you know?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, obviously, in culmination of these facts, we should probably adopt and accept the view, if we're just purely being rational, that this bill is bad.
I mean, there's two sides to every story.
But you don't know what the other side is.
I don't have all the specifics of the bill, so.
Right, and I don't feel like we should be able to make an argument from ignorance here, saying that I'm just ignorant to what the good outcomes are. So even though I'm not ignorant to what the bad outcomes are, I could still assume it's a good bill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a question now.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, under the Biden administration, when they pulled out of some of the wars, the one that's coming to mind right now is the Afghanistan war. I think that was back in 2021 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a little bit of kind of a clumsy kind of thing, and I've read a little bit up on this, and they kind of exited quickly. The Taliban took back control. Billions in U.S. Equipment were kind of just left there, and it's kind of seen as sort of a major kind of blow under his presidency. Is that Afghan withdrawal? What do you think about that?
All the equipment that we left there was disabled, so it couldn't be used. And the reason why we left it there is because it would have been more expensive to ship it back home. The reason that 13 service members died on the pullout was because of a bomber, Taliban, who ran up and bombed them. And the only reason that Taliban terrorists was able to run up and bomb them is because Donald Trump negotiated a deal with the Taliban in order to release 5,000 of those Taliban terrorists from a prison on Camp David. So I think that Donald Trump is incredibly culpable for that. Not to mention that there was a total of 16 service members that died in active conflict over the last 4 years under the Biden-Harris administration when we had 64 in Trump's first term.
You think that under Trump's term in the last few weeks, when we place that strike to get rid of nuclear power? You think that was a good move?
No, I think it was a terrible move because early U.S. intelligence reports told us that we only set Iran back by around a month or two. Plus, it caused them to go into hiding. So we used to know where they were keeping their enriched uranium, as well as we used to know how much enriched uranium we have. After those strikes, we don't know where it is, and we don't know how much they have because those strikes caused the Iranian parliament to revoke oversight clearance from the IAEA, which has been a international nuclear watchdog that gave us information about their nuclear facilities because Iran allowed them to have the information about their nuclear facilities, thinking it would prevent any bomb or threat from a country like America. But because it didn't prevent a bomb or a threat from a country like America, they revoked that clearance, and we no longer know where they're at. Plus, it was just kind of crazy to come to Israel's aid and do exactly what they wanted us to do, just to involve ourselves in more unnecessary conflict that could potentially help us. I mean, I don't think that's somebody we should be allies with. Like, imagine, you have a friend, and, this friend brings you to the bar every Friday or Saturday night, and they egg you on and get you into fights with other random people at the bar, and ultimately you come out on top, you win those fights, but you get hurt in the process, and they're, like, repeatedly doing this to you, right? We could agree that this would be a bad friend, right?
Yep.
Right. Well, okay. Israel's our ally, but this ally has been egging us on to get us into conflict with countries like Iran. And then even after, that conflict amounted to us knowing less about their nuclear facilities, which is a larger national security threat. And then Israel violated the ceasefire agreement that we set forth. God damn, that's a bad ally.
I just can't see Iran getting nuclear power being a good thing, though. So even setting them back a few months seems like
well,
good.
So if we had a president that greenlit Iran into getting nuclear weapons, would you ever support them?
What was that?
If we had a president that literally greenlit Iran into having nuclear weapons, would you ever support that president?
I see where you're coming from, Dean.
Because that's what Trump did. He pulled us out of a denuclearization agreement with Iran. It gave us 24/7 access and surveillance over all of their nuclear facilities. It mandated them to deconstruct all of the machinery required to develop nuclear weapons. It gave the IAEA 500 in-person visits per year per nuclear facility, as well as it forced them to give away 97% of all of the enriched uranium that they possessed. Trump pulled us out of it simply because Obama's signature was on it. Him pulling us out of that agreement greenlit that country into developing nuclear weapons. So if you think them having nuclear weapons is such a grave threat that we need to be focused on, well, then you'd say Donald Trump pulling us out of that agreement, greenlighting the country, was a very significant loss that he took.
My question for you, under that agreement that Obama had us in, what was Iran getting in exchange for that?
We're like lower sanctions on the country for more economic flourishment in their country, as well as a release of sanctions on some of their bank accounts in South Korea.
Okay. Dean, it has been a pleasure. I appreciate the insight and discussion. I unfortunately have to run.
Yeah, dude, have a good rest of your day. Appreciate you for coming up.
All right, Dean, take it easy, brother.
Yeah, you as well, Z-Pip. Take care, dude. We're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Let's go to get that next guest loaded into the box. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Trump, y'all. We're going to go to get that next guest, the current flow, loaded up in here. Real quick, let's see here. Kai, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo 13 minutes ago. Kai says, thank you for all the work that you do. I always look forward to watching you show up on my FYP. Guy, thank you for being in here. Sandy, thank you for the motorcycle over on TikTok as well. And then Emma, thank you. One moment, sir. Emma, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Emma says, hey, Dean, I've always been on the liberal side, but I appreciate what you do. You've helped me educate me so much. This guy's in the middle of a hurricane. I got to mute him real quick. Sorry, Emma. Let's get 150 Emma W's down below in that comment section. Seriously, thank you so much for the love, as well as Hayden. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love. And then Emma Lee, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal, saying actually illegal entry is a misdemeanor. Damn facts, Emily. Thank you so much. Can we get 200 Emily W's down below? Hello, that is EMILEE. As well as Allison for the $5 as well. Thank you, Emily and Allison. Fucking base donors, okay? And welcome in the current flow. Are you MAGA?
I'm not MAGA, no.
Fucking based. Hell yes. Goodbye, sir. Go ahead and put a MAGA down below in that chat if you do want to come up here and have a debate with me. We are only looking to debate some Trump supporters. Fuck, I just hit my mic really hard with my hand and that hurt. Owie. Owie. Hello, Rose. Do you support Trump as president? Rose does not support Trump as president. Goodbye, quite frankly. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute here to get that next guest loaded into the box. Quite frankly, where are we at? We're going to go to get Richie loaded up in the box. Here we go, everybody. We got a Richie loaded in. Richie, quite frankly, Richie. Hello, what's going on, Richie? Do you support Trump?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you support Trump?
I used to, you just flipped me. So.
I actually can't hear you, man. Sorry. I think I heard him say flipped me. Dude, if I happen to flip you from being a Trump supporter, know that I love you and that's awesome. I'm pretty sure that's what you said, but honestly, I can't hear you too well. Hello, you were spamming MAGA King Trump in the comment section.
Yeah.
You think that Trump is a king?
He's doing king.
Yeah, could you disconnect could you disconnect your Trump pods from your phone? I can barely hear you.
Sorry.
Just
is that better?
No, just disconnect Bluetooth.
It's not going to be better.
It will be better, trust.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so why do you call the president king? You like weird spineless fascist?
Me?
Yeah.
Spineless fascist?
Spineless fascist.
Well,
That's the people who call the president king.
maybe you're ignorant, but, you know, to get up on these lives with 6.5 thousand people, you got to put some things in the comments that get you attention. So
Okay, so you don't actually believe that.
Well, that he is the king?
Well, no, he's not. He's not the king.
Yeah, obviously he's not. Nobody believes that.
Apparently he does. He
kinda
called himself king.
Well, I mean, you know by now that Trump says things facetiously. He likes to talk. He likes to make jokes. He likes to antagonize his antagonists like you.
Yeah, he likes to antagonize half the country. What a good president.
I mean, that's not the most important thing.
I think that one of the most important things for a president to do is to try to bring the country together, not just antagonize half of them and tell them that he hates them. That's a pretty unpresidential thing to do.
I don't think he attacks half of the country. I don't think that.
He literally explicitly said that he hates all Democrats. Is that not an attack?
I mean, maybe in the heat of the moment he said something like that, but he's really referring to people that are going against.
Yeah, we got Donald Trump spin man up on the live right now. It looks like he's leaving. I don't know what's going on with him. Truly don't know. I think he is driving though, so we're just gonna go to kick him. Let's see here. Everyone, give us a minute to get our next guest up in here. Sari, thank you for the $10 over at Cash App. Sarai says, here's $10 for you've educated me so much. Thank you for what you do. Sari, first and foremost, I hope that I'm correctly pronouncing your name. If I'm not, I do apologize, but thank you for the $10. It's so kind of you. And if you're watching and you want to support me like Sari, on TikTok, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and Cash App in the link tree in my bio. Get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms, and you get a notification at the top of this phone so I could read it off and give you a shout out. Same thing goes for the pin message over on my YouTube stream. That's where you can find my Venmo, my PayPal. Welcome in, James. Do you support the man, the myth, the failure, Donald Trump as president?
Yeah, hell no.
Hell nah, based. Put a mag in that chat with your age if you do want to come up here. We're going to get the next guest loaded in. We got Mark Wood loaded in. Here we go, everybody. We actually got B loaded in. Dude, where are the Trump supporters at? They're hiding today. They're all scared. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to defend this man. What's going on, Devolution? Do you support Trump?
Yo, bro, Cookie King mogs you. Cookie King mogs you.
So real, so real, especially after
King mogs you.
we heard you the first
Cookie
3
King
times.
Mogs you.
Repeat it again for
Cookie
me.
King mogs you, jackass.
Good boy. I told you to repeat
16,
it.
bro.
Whoa, what the
I'm
fuck?
16.
Get the hell out of here. Moving on to the next guest. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Let's go to get Hudson loaded into the live. Go to put a mag with your age down below in that comment section. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Hudson?
Cookie King mogs you.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on. Here we go, everybody. Let's get the next guest, Chase, loaded into the live stream. Everyone, just give us a minute. Go to put a MAGA down below in that comment section right now if you do want to come up, as well as Tava. Thank you for the $21 donation over on PayPal. Thank you so much, Tava. That is TAVA. They didn't leave a message, only the love. Thank you so much, Tava. If we could all please show some love to Tava down below in that comment section while we're trying to get that very next Trump supporter up in the live, that would be great. Thank you so much, Tava. That is so kind of you. Thank you. W freaking Tava down below. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Love you, Dean.
Appreciate you for the love. All right, guys, we have so many people in the TikTok live stream right now. Right now, we have 6.6 thousand people tuned in, but for whatever reason, we don't have a single Trump supporter. I don't know what it is. Are you all fucking scared of me? Is that what it is? You guys scared of debating, bro? I don't know. It's crazy. 7,000 people, not one person that wants to debate? Dude, come on. I imagine that you were standing in front of a crowd of nearly 7,000 people and you stood up and you said, hey, the current president sucks ass. They're terrible at their job. Very, very likely to be the worst president out of the lives of anybody watching this stream. And then I was like, prove me wrong. And then I gave a mic to everybody in the audience. And then I asked one person to stand up that wanted to prove me wrong. And then nobody stood up. Imagine. Because that's what's happening right now, everybody. That's what is happening right now. Stand up. MAGA, I'm telling you, stand up. Have a debate with me. Tell me why you support Trump. What's up, Greg? Do you support Trump?
I want to go over there. No, I didn't mean to get on, man.
No worries, Greg. Moving on. Jacqueline! Thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love, Jacqueline. Thank you. Jacqueline says, hey, Dean, hope everything is well. Quick question out of curiosity. Do you get recognized a lot in person? Yeah, I do. Nearly every time I go out. You'd be surprised. A lot of people have seen my content. Like depending on the venue, it could be, like everybody in a room. I mean, that doesn't happen as frequently, but it does happen sometimes. What's up, Jay? Do you support Trump? All right, Jay's a kid. Look at that, guys. We are like still looking for one person to debate. It is absolutely just like crazy to me that we can't find one person to have a conversation with. It looks like everybody is like scared. Dude, everybody is scared. We're going to try to get that next guest loaded into the live stream right now. Really just looking for one person here. What's up, Vanilla? Do you support Trump?
I support Adolf Hitler.
All right. See you later, buddy. Welcome in. Susan, do you support Trump?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Susan H?
I am 49.
Troll. Hello, Lexi. Do you support Trump?
Oh, sorry. I was tapping. I was liking the live.
Dude, I appreciate you for liking the live, Lexi. That's awesome. Oh, my goodness gracious. Still trying to find one Trump supporter. Moving on to the next guest here, Zena. Thank you for another $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you for the love. Welcome in, Zoe. Do you support Trump?
Hi there, Dean. I'm curious if you'd be willing to talk to a victim by proxy of Epstein. I know you're trying to debate, but I've been trying to get this information out to a whistleblower, and I think you'd find my information pretty interesting.
What's your information?
I was a victim of Epstein through proxy, and I actually theorize that he is not dead.
What do you mean by victim of proxy?
Do you know who John-Luc Brunel is? Have you heard of that name?
John Brunel?
John-Luc Brunel, J-E-A. I can save you a Google search, but he was a model scout who received funding through Epstein, and they both died in the same manner.
How about this? I'm gonna shoot you a follow and a DM, okay?
Awesome, thank you. I would just love to get this information out to someone.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you a follow and a DM, okay?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Of course, you too. I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch. Interesting. I'm gonna shoot you a follow and a DM. For right now, we are gonna move on to the next guest. Welcome in, Jay. Do you support Trump? All right. See you later, Jay. We're gonna move on to the next guest. The reason why I want to shoot you a follow and a DM first is not just to kind of check out, like what you want to say. But also to make sure that you know what like the response will be from like sharing information in like a public setting, just kind of like ticking off the boxes of like personal like security, backlash from like crazy right wingers, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of important considerations that play into factor there. We're gonna move on to Mark. Everybody, we got Mark loaded up into the box. Everyone, just give us a minute to get Mark connected, y'all. Make sure that right now we are double tapping away on that phone screen. Welcome to Mark. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, how old are you?
21.
21. All right, real quick before we hop into debate, real quick, Gabs, thank you for the $5 over in Cash App saying, hi, Dean, hope you're having a great day. Thank you for the love. I hope you're having a great day as well, Gabs. Zena with the $5 as well, ZNA, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. As well as Vesna, dude, holy crap, Vesma, thank you for the $50 donation over on PayPal, Vesna. That is such a kind donation. Holy shit. Vesna says, my whole family tunes into your live stream, Dean. Sending love from Ohio and so many thanks for all that you do. W Dean, W Vesna, down below in that chat right now. And all of Vesna's family. Thank you so much. Show some love to Vesna down below in that chat right now. And Mr. Mark, take it away. Why do you support Trump?
I'm a partial supporter.
Okay, why?
I support what he do for the upper class.
Well,
I mean that should be the goal. That should be the goal for anybody though, to get to there. But you know, he don't make it easy for the people down there. But you know,
well, the thing
I
is,
don't know what to say about that.
the thing is, in order to fund all the tax cuts for the millions and billionaires, he's literally kicking 18 million students in school off of free lunches, 3 million
Yeah, if he take it
families.
from the lower class, I don't support him taking from the lower class. He could find a better way to support the higher class. But that's his way of going by it. I just live here. I'm just a resident.
But that's why you shouldn't support it.
What other choice do you have?
The choice to not support him?
He's still gonna be the president. He's still gonna do what he want to do.
Well, actually, with more public, voice of concern / whatever the opposite of like disdain for him and what he's doing as the presidency, he'll be like more socially limited in what he can do. Social pressure really does matter. It is the hidden check and balance in any functioning democracy. Don't just say that you're going to support him because he's president. That's really annoying. In fact, we need to be more critical of him because he's president, not less critical of him as you would suggest.
If it was a vote to impeach him, I would be on the vote to impeach, but I still support what he does for the higher class.
Cool, man. Well, we're going to kick you and move on to the next guest then. Everyone, we're going to get that next guest Kindle up in the box, guys. Go to put a MAGA with your age down below in that chat if you would like to join. We are very seriously just looking for one person to come up here right now. Welcome in, Kindle. Do you support Trump?
Hi. So I was just curious about his policies with the gerrymandering. I just feel like he isn't really doing anything wrong in that sense, and I just wanted to talk to you about that.
Okay, so are you MAGA?
Not particularly. I'm an independent, but
Okay, well, I mean, if you just want to talk about gerrymandering, I don't know. That's probably too far of a subversion away from the original topic
and
of
so
conversation.
I just wanted to talk about what specifically he is doing wrong in that situation because I don't really see that. So I wouldn't say that's
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a bunch of other political influencers, debaters, etc., that are probably live right now. I bet you could find one to talk to about that. It's just such a, it's a big enough subversion away from the topic of discourse, just about the efficacy of his presidency, that we're going to kick you. But that's a pretty crazy view to say that you don't find anything wrong with gerrymandering. I mean, it's a suppression of individuals' voices. I don't think I could support that. Welcome in, Trump 2028. Are you a patriot?
Cookie King Mugs, you Dean. Cookie King Mugs.
Very nice. Very nice. So why do you support Trump? All right, everybody. We have been live for an hour and 15 minutes. I think that we've maybe gotten 2 debates in the last hour and 15 minutes. Oh, my goodness gracious. Everyone, just give us a minute here so we could try to find one person to bring up a debate. If that happens to be you, I'd love to chat. I would truly love to chat, everybody. Queen! Thank you for the $40 donation over on Cash App! Queen sent $40 with a message for dealing with the MAGA trash. Dude, Queen, that is so kind! Dude, $40, that is so much money, Jesus. Can we please show some love to Queen down below in all of the live stream comment sections right now? Thank you so much for the $40, Queen. Shout out to Queen down below. Thank you so much. Welcome in, SE. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Age, please.
18.
Time, please.
2007.
Not birth year. Time, please. All right, welcome in. What is going on? Dan the man, do you support? Dan the man's not even here. Moving on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute to try to find that next Trump supporter, EJ, to bring up. In the meantime, Brianna, thank you for the $5 over on Venmo. Brianna says, my family's full of Trump supporters. I love what you do, and I love sharing your content to educate my family. Hell yes, Brianna. That's so awesome. I honestly share it with my family quite a bit, too. So true, EJ. Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
Okay, what year were you born in?
2007.
Very nice. So why do you support Trump?
I agree what he's doing for the people and the economy.
Okay, what is he doing for the people in the economy? Be very specific, sir.
Taking tax off tips, taking tax off other things like overtime and whatnot. He's bringing he's bringing Toyota, Honda, those type of companies back to America.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, they bring back a few thousand people.
Yeah.
And they open up 3,000 jobs, tariffs. Gas is the lowest since 2021.
So true.
If you search it up right now,
Yeah. So what has he done to make the price of gas so low?
Made deals with Saudi Arabia.
Made deals with Saudi Arabia for more oil? No, he made a deal with Saudi Arabia for investment into American AI technology, not for more oil. He left. Oh, dude, our debates are literally 5 seconds long. Dude, this sucks today. This fucking sucks. Like, nobody's here to debate. I think I've just gotten too OP at what I do. I've gotten way too OP at what I do. It is just simply impossible for us to have like a cogent conversation with anybody because we've just gotten too good at it. Nobody's here. Welcome in Ambush. Do you support Trump?
I do. How are you doing today? Thanks for having me up, Dean.
Have you found my address yet?
Let's talk about abortion.
Have you found my address yet?
Dean, can you stop playing the little kid games? You know I know where you live and all that good stuff.
Tell me where I live.
Dean, I explained to you multiple times, and you know this, but we don't have to speak on that. I told you, I DM'd you.
I want to know my address. What is my address?
How do you know I'm not here to help you, Dean?
Because you know where I live, or at least you think you know where I live. In all reality,
Right.
I don't think you know where I live. I think that you're lying. I think that
But I
you're like.
do.
I think that you're just not intelligent enough to find my address.
So let me just speak directly to you.
Could I just?
Okay.
Could you tell me my address real quick?
No. I'm not going to tell you your address, but I can give you some.
All right, good luck, buddy. I bring that guy up every once in a while. He's been trying to find my address for like the last 2 years, year and a half. He really doesn't like me, like at all. But he's just not intelligent enough to know how to find it. And it's so funny. It's so funny. Welcome in. Do you support Trump, Smirky?
I support Trump. I'm not part of MAGA though. Does that work?
Isaiah, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love. Why do you support Trump with a watermelon in your name? What the fuck are we doing here?
Support Trump with a what? So what about it?
Yeah, like watermelon is typically, like a symbol and or emoji.
Kamala and Biden, and they also pay to Israel.
You're gonna let me finish talking. That's how conversations work.
You're gonna
okay?
let you finish?
Yeah. So you asked me what does that mean? It's typically a symbol or an emoji to represent a pro-Palestinian worldview. I find like a pro-Palestinian worldview to be incompatible with support for the Trump administration. Your response right there is going to be, well, I mean, you supported Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, even though they're pro-Israel, gave them money, funding weapons and bombs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the reason why being pro-Palestinian is compatible with what was a pro-Kamala Harris view for the general election is because although she did support Trump, support Israel, but because Donald Trump supported Israel to a higher extent, it was still yet the lesser of two evils within noted respect. However, as it relates to supporting Trump, he's a worse of two evils within the noted respect. And I don't understand how a pro-Palestinian individual could support the worst of two evils inside of a for the Palestinians respect.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, you're asking why I support the worst of two evils?
Yeah.
But so what would be the point of supporting an evil in general?
Well, if it's
the lesser evil is better.
The point of supporting the lesser of two evils in an election where one of these two evils would have to be elected would be for less harm compared to more harm. I feel like that's pretty intuitive.
Yeah, definitely. So what would be the two differences? Like, what is Trump doing that Biden wouldn't have done?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll go with Kamala Harris or Biden. I guess either work. It is the case that Trump has, on multiple points, voiced his lack of support for any and all humanitarian aid going into Gaza. Kamala Harris did support some humanitarian aid. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris supported some restrictions on arms outside of their arm embargo that did come late. They were unwilling to ship multiple 1,000-pound bombs over to Israel. Donald Trump criticized them then, and after he was elected, he removed all restrictions, as well as Donald Trump personally announced a plan to have America personally go into the Gaza Strip and personally ethnically cleanse the remaining 1.2 million Palestinians. That's something I don't believe Kamala Harris would have done. As well as he's more so their puppet, Like, think about it. Why didn't they bomb Iran during the last 4 years? Is it maybe because they don't think they would have been able to convince the Biden-Harris administration to drop their bunker blasters on Fordo? Probably. And I mean, my evidence
don't
for
think
this would
the Epstein
probably be
files
the
will
amount of
ever come
money
out, man.
that Trump has accepted from, is pro-Israel lobbyists / interest groups compared to the amount of money that somebody like Kamala Harris has accepted from pro-Israel lobbyists / interest groups. She's accepted $5 million, which obviously shows that she's been compromised. She's pro-Israel, but obviously Donald Trump has been compromised to a higher extent.
You asked why we haven't bombed Israel. I think it's because we didn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? The Epstein files weren't about to come out, so I think that's why we didn't bomb Iran.
I don't know how the Epstein files play into this. Do you want to respond to anything that I just said about how Donald Trump is more pro-Israel than what Kamala Harris was? And so it makes like no sense for you to be pro-Trump as a pro-Palestinian.
No, yeah, I'll be
individual?
completely honest. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm on the wrong TikTok account. I was attempting my grifting. I'm trying to get into grifting. Didn't really work.
What?
But you also.
What do you mean? What do you mean
I've
you're
seen
trying to get into
people
grifting?
say-
Wait. What do you mean you're trying
I've
to get into grifting?
So I've seen you ask people if they were part of MAGA, and people have been saying that they support Trump, but they don't support MAGA.
No. We need to talk about what you just said. What do you mean you're trying to get into grifting?
I'm just trying to make money.
How? By grifting? Who are you? Like what? Who are you grifting?
Yeah, I don't know. Nick Fuentes seems to fucking make money. Charlie Kirk seems to make money. You seem to make money. I don't know. I just want to be I want to be a part of this.
You want to, bro? Okay. Well, see, the difference is between me and you is you're trying to claim to views that you don't actually hold to, like making you a grifter, and I don't claim to views that I don't actually hold to, meaning that I'm not a grifter. Maybe if you want to like get into politics, just start off with the base bones of trying to build a foundation of what you believe in and why, scale that up, and then tell others why to see if you could build a platform. Don't turn around and just try to sell out to people that you don't actually agree with just to make money. That's incredibly immoral and gross.
Okay.
Thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. I appreciate you for that love, They say, hi, Dean, loving your patriotic love of the country and debate efforts for the country to be even better, debating MAGA folks and sometimes enlightening those capable of being more wise. I really appreciate you for the love. Thank you so much, For the 6.6 thousand people that we have in the stream over on TikTok, if we could please double tap away on that phone screen, that would be awesome. I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you. Y'all, I don't know what's going on. I think that we're kind of running out of Trump supporters for the day. Like the viewership has been like ever so decreasing. It's been hard to find people. I don't know what it is or why. I think at the end of the day, it's just like people don't want to debate me. So if you do want to debate me, if you're watching and you're MAGA, I'd love to have you loaded into the stream. There's only 3 rules that I'll have you guys follow. You got to be at least 18, from America, and support Trump. Welcome into You Support Trump.
Hello, yes. Hi, Dean.
Hi, age, please.
28.
Alex, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Question: do you think that Trump knew what Epstein was doing when Trump was best friends with Epstein?
I have no idea. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of
What if he
Trump,
did? Would you still support Trump if Trump knew that his best friend was a billionaire child rapist and human trafficker?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I have a question. When Ted Bundy was active serial killing, let's just imagine that he had a hypothetical best friend. And this hypothetical best friend was always with him in social events, going to parties at his house, and traveling with him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we found a letter that this hypothetical best friend had sent to Ted Bundy, which included the statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret," and a picture of a decapitated head on a plate. Do you think this would make it obvious that this Ted Bundy's hypothetical best friend here knew what Ted Bundy was doing?
Okay, well, you're throwing hypotheticals that
Yes, I
never
am.
exist.
Right? Yes, because they're conceptually relevant to hopefully prove a point.
Prove a point for what?
Well, you'll see once we get there.
Well, then no. If that were to actually be a theoretical concept, then absolutely.
So I just want to clarify that in this hypothetical Ted Bundy's best friend, you do believe that we'd have enough reason to believe that he knew what Ted Bundy was doing after we saw that letter, right?
Sure.
Okay. So what about like a hypothetical like child rapist? Imagine they had a best friend that was always with them, going out to parties.
You're throwing hypotheticals.
Right.
I'm not trying to cut you off.
We're on. Yeah, man. I don't know what it is with the right. Hypotheticals can be incredibly relevant and serve a purpose and be really.
I'm gonna cut you off real quick because I'm not all the way on the right.
Okay.
So,
do you mind if I finish though? It's an important point I'm making.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So if we had a hypothetical child rapist in general, human trafficker, etc., and then a hypothetical best friend that was, just like Ted Bundy's hypothetical best friend, always with them, going to parties, traveling with them, etc., 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 and the hypothetical child's rapist, hypothetical best friend sent them a hypothetical letter that said, "May every other day be a new wonderful secret," that included a picture of a naked woman. Do you think that it'd just be obvious that this hypothetical child rapist, human trafficker's best friend knew exactly what they were doing?
Okay. Sure. Whatever you want to believe.
Oh, is that what you believe? Do you believe that letter would make it obvious?
You're getting into the point of hypotheticals, which nothing has been proven. Just like with Mr. Biden showering
Before we talk about Biden, because I know you love to pull the Biden card when you're losing a debate, I would love it if you could answer my question.
I'm not losing the debate, bud.
Okay, well then if you're not losing the debate, you should be able to answer my very simple questions. From your perspective, once again, hypothetical child rapist, human trafficker has a best friend. Best friend's always with him, traveling with him, seen at parties, talks about how good of friends they are. Then this hypothetical best friend sends the child rapist, human trafficker a letter that details a picture of a naked woman and includes a statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret." Would you say that this hypothetical best friend of the child rapist would know exactly what that child rapist was doing?
Okay. Well, again, you went so deep. So do you think it was just Trump or his people that admitted this stuff? Don't you think that the whole Epstein list, right? Wouldn't it be like the whole government would be corrupt in that sense?
That's because once again, when I ask a question, I'm not just asking the question for no reason. I'm asking a question because I want you to respond to the question. So can you please respond to the question?
Then what's the question?
I've already asked you 3 times. I'll ask you a fourth. I'll be patient today. Child rapist, human trafficker, has a best friend. Best friend's always with them. Best friend sends them a letter, woman, in the statement, "May every day be another wonderful secret." Does that letter make it obvious that this best friend knew exactly what the rapist human trafficker was doing?
Yes. Where's the proof?
And earlier, you told us that you wouldn't support Trump if he knew what Epstein was doing. Well, guess what? The proof came out 2 days ago when we learned that Trump had sent a letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday in 2003 with a statement, "May every day be another wonderful secret," and a picture of a naked woman.
Dude, I have my PC pulled up right now. Please let me know where I can find it.
Yeah, search up Trump Epstein letter, WSJ.
Trump Epstein letter, what?
WSJ.
WSJ. Pulling it up right now.
You need a subscription to read the whole thing.
Oh, it's on Wall Street Journal. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay for it, but okay. Let's say you're right. So you want to say, okay, again, and I'm at this point where there's Trump and Biden or whatever, I don't care. I'm an independent because Trump is doing a lot of bad things to the country. But why would anything in this country go against the Epstein files? Because Trump is blocking it, right? But
what is this guy saying?
What do you want me to say?
Well,
I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, because I've made a very clear point. I got you to admit that you would no longer support Trump as president if Trump knew what Epstein was doing when he was friends with him in the 90s. And then I proved to you that Trump did know what Epstein was doing, and you even conceded that the evidence would indicate that Trump knew what Epstein was doing.
Okay, so he knew it. So that's the thing.
So this would mean that you no longer support Trump, because you told me if you thought that Trump knew what Epstein was doing, you no longer support Trump.
I think Trump.
And you conceded that you
Trump
do
has
think
done-
that Trump knew what Epstein was doing. The obvious implication here is that you no longer support Trump. Else you are a total fucking raging hypocrite with no backbone, no spine, and
That is
no
absolutely
principles.
not what I'm saying. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm saying Trump has done a lot of bad things with his immigration policies and everything else. But I think the Epstein files, again, and you as a political person, because I don't know if you're getting paid by the DNC. I don't know if you're just doing it for the heck of it. But
Yeah, man, I'm paid by the DNC every penny.
But
they're actually talking about this over in my
let me
YouTube chat. Over in my YouTube chat right now, there's a couple disgruntled Trump supporters saying that my net worth is $3 million.
okay, well, I think that's ridiculous. But I'm just saying, the whole government is corrupt, and Trump might be a part of it. I don't know. But Trump has done a lot of good things for America. Do I agree with all of it? No. That's why I turned from Republican to an independent, because there's so much stuff going on. But the Epstein files, again, I don't know. But if the Epstein files got released, I'm pretty sure Trump, Biden, Obama, all of those people, like, sent to.
Ooh, okay, you're wrong.
Okay. Explain.
What evidence do we have that Obama and Biden would go to jail?
Okay, well, did you see the whole Obama-Russian collusion?
I mean, I've heard of that on Twitter. What does that have to do with the Epstein files?
Okay, so I'm just making a theoretical like you like to do. So,
but the thing is I know how to use hypotheticals to demonstrate a larger conceptually relevant point for a debate.
so do I.
You're just saying shit to say it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So, what about the Diddy case? Diddy was okay. No. You're trying to link other stuff, and you're trying to cut me off. But Diddy got prosecuted for the whole trafficking stuff, right? Yes or no?
Yes and no. I think he was let off the hook for the trafficking and whatnot. It was pretty bad.
Okay. So, you got Obama that had so many deportations and kids were missing. Oh my gosh, man! If you're gonna laugh at it, like
no, I'll lock in. I'm locked in, bro.
Oh, you're locked in?
I'm locked in.
Okay, so like I said, the whole child trafficking stuff, when it was around Obama, wasn't it around the same time year? You had kids locked up, and under the Biden administration, you had kids locked up. Where did
the
Trump
same time year?
Time year, yeah.
Continue.
Same time.
Continue.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, that there's a whole time period that during the Obama administration, you had these kids locked up, and then you had missing kids, and you had missing kids during the Biden administration. So, what happened?
So, how did we get from me, like, proving to you that you don't support Trump, given that you admitted that if you thought Trump knew what Epstein was doing when Epstein was raping children, that you no longer support him today? And then I proved to you that you do think that Trump knew what Epstein was doing because you accepted that if a child rapist's hypothetical best friend sent them a letter of a picture of a naked woman, that they'd know what that child rapist was doing. And then I proved to you that was what Donald Trump did to Epstein in 2003, per reporting from the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago. How did you just completely manage to pivot and deflect from that without recognizing that that would force you into the conclusion that you no longer support Trump? And now you're asking me about the unaccounted children that didn't show up to their asylum hearings under both the Biden administration and the Obama administration.
Because
How about before we
pushing
talk about for the unaccounted children that didn't show up to their asylum hearings while they were in the country, before we move on to that, I feel like you kind of owe us a response here of about a billion other things, right? Like particularly the fact that you told us that you wouldn't support Trump if you thought that Trump knew what Epstein was doing, and then I proved to you that Trump did know what Epstein was doing, and you even accepted it.
Yep.
So this means that you no longer support Trump, right?
No, I'm waiting for the proof because again, you said that, Trump was friends with Epstein for a second, but then
I gave you the proof. I asked. Wait, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago after it became public. After the government started publicly prosecuting him. I already in 2006. I also already gave you the proof. I asked, do you have a child rapist's hypothetical best friend sent him a letter detailing a picture of a naked woman? You accepted it as proof.
No.
Yes, you did. No. Somebody in my YouTube comment section, please give me the timestamp of when I asked him that hypothetical question, and he very clearly responded that would be sufficient proof to obviously believe that best friend knew what the child rapist was doing. Somebody in my YouTube comment section, please give me the timestamp, because you very clearly conceded to this earlier on. It was very clear. It was very, very clear. It was very, very clear. Let's see if we can find it real quick. Some people that we have in the stream over on TikTok, if we could please.
Want to believe.
Is that what you believe? Do you believe letter WSJ?
Trump?
Let's see. It'll be secret. Does that letter make it obvious? Oh, we actually friend. Wow, we actually found it. I'll ask you fourth. I'll be patient today. Child rapist, human trafficker, has a best friend. Best friend's always with him. Best friend sends them a letter with a picture of a naked woman in the statement, "May every day be another wonderful secret." Does that letter make it obvious that this best friend knew exactly what the rapist human trafficker was doing?
Yes. Okay. You cut it off right there. But again, there's no... How old was this person? Do you know?
What person?
The one that you were asking me about.
We've talked about a lot of people so far in this conversation, man. What person?
Okay, what rapist?
Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, then what has Trump done?
He sent them the letter that made it obvious that he knew what Epstein was doing? Come on, we already clarified on this too. I'll continue to roll the clip. Just listen.
Where's the proof?
And earlier, you told us that you wouldn't support Trump if he knew what Epstein was doing. Well, guess what? The proof came out 2 days ago when we learned that Trump had sent a letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday in 2003 with a statement, "May every day be another wonderful secret," and a picture of a naked woman. Why did you just forget about that whole conversation? Like, I literally laid it out to you. I asked you the question: Would this letter make it obvious that the friend of a child rapist knew exactly what the child rapist was doing? You said yes. You asked for the proof. I then tell you this is exactly what Donald Trump did at Epstein in 2003, the letter for Epstein's 50th birthday. We already go over that. We already go over the names. We go over who's who. We go over how this relates to Trump. And now oh my God, now you're over here asking me who the rapist was? Dude, are you just completely incoherent? Do you just not even remember what we discussed less than 5 minutes ago? Are you just totally lost? Are you just unable to track anything and everything ever?
Sure, whatever you want to believe, bud. But again, you spit these things out of your mouth, but there's no real proof behind it. You might be looking at CNN News, MSNDNC, whatever.
MSNDNC. We're going to kick you off. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm sorry, I'm not here to torture myself for everybody's enjoyment. So we're going to get the next guest, Benjamin Lee, up in the box. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. I appreciate everyone so much for the love. Let's see here. Ian, thank you for the $3 over at Venmo, saying thank you for destroying the far right gang. Appreciate you for the $3, gang. Love you, Ian. Show some love to Ian down below. Once again, if you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and my Cash App, and the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as in the pinned message over on that YouTube stream. Thank you everyone so much for the love. Welcome in, Mr. Benjamin. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Benjamin, why do you support the worst president of your life? Boo, bad. L.
That's funny. Well, I was listening for a little while, and you were talking about the lesser of two evils. So I guess if you think about what is evil, what's good for one person is bad for another, right? So when you start talking about, the whole Palestinian thing versus Gaza, well, anyways, what's going on over there is bad for the people over there. But obviously, for me, it's going to be, I care about me, friends, then my local area, then state, country, and then the world, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide who's going to do the best job for the people who come first on my list of people that I care about, right? Does that make sense? So yes, even though it would be considered evil for people in other countries, unfortunately, I'm going to pick the people that I care about first. Who's going to do the best for the people I care about, number one? And I think that's Trump.
I mean, you're definitely positioning an argument by just kind of removing all care. Definitely doesn't make too much sense to me.
No, I'm not saying...
I just want to clarify.
I'm not saying I don't
care. Like if like slavery and halfway across the world benefited you and your family, would you support it?
No. Because it's not
okay.
Be,
so in some cases, you actually do put people
on.
halfway across the world before your family.
Well, no, it's my family doesn't. My family should be capable of working and supporting themselves as long as there's work to be done and an economy to work in, right?
That's neither here nor there in the question that I asked you.
Yeah, obviously, I don't want to see anybody suffer. But if I was to ask you, hey, if you had to pick between, somebody needs an organ, it's your mom or me, I'm going to expect that you're going to say you would have your mom get an organ to keep her alive before you'd keep me alive. And I would do the same because it's the people that I care about, number one.
Okay, well, what you're suggesting here is like an equal trade-off of harm. Okay, so I'm sure like everybody, given like an isolated incident of an equal trade-off of harm, would like probably prefer somebody that they don't know to be harmed to like a level of X compared to somebody that they do know, like a mom that they love very much, to like a level of X. Okay, but like what you're suggesting is like, if you didn't vote for Trump, it's not like your family would start being genocided like Palestinians are. In fact, your family would actually be better off, and you're misled about them being better under the Trump administration.
Okay, I mean, well, that's that's up to interpretation, but obviously that's what the discussion's about, right?
So, how do you think the Trump administration is helping your family?
Well, I've been in business for 17 years, and during Obama, it was okay. During the Trump's administration, it did better. During the Biden, everything fell apart. And then things are just starting to pick up again.
Okay, so what have the Democrats been doing to you that have hurt you? What business? What have they done?
The economy. People not having money to spend.
People having more money to spend.
People not having during the Biden administration. Granted, there was the whole COVID thing. I understand that, but how that was handled, I think, could have been done better.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. In a nutshell, your argument is that you believe Democrats made it so less people had less money to spend, and you think that Trump makes it so more people have more money to spend, right?
I think that he's more capable than Harris of making decisions that will benefit. I think he has a better understanding of how economics work.
Okay, why do you think he has a better understanding of how economics work?
Well, because he's a businessman, and I know you're going to go right
because
into
he's a businessman. So nothing to do with his policy, just like a rhetorical, abstract claim about how good of a businessman he is. Well, I mean, if you're just going to grade individuals like business literacy based upon like their net worth and like practice in business, well, then you'd say that Elon Musk is a better businessman because he's a higher net worth, which was obtained in a shorter time period. And Elon Musk thinks that Donald Trump's economic policy is so bad he should be impeached.
Okay, fair. And Musk, I do think, has a higher level of success than Trump.
So that's a self-refuting argument.
No, it's not.
It is, because then you'd have more reason to trust Elon compared to Trump, and Elon says that Trump's policy is bad.
Okay, well, right now Trump's goal is to deal with his job as a president. Musk's job is to deal with the businesses that he's running,
which is neither here nor there as it relates to my claim.
Well, remember what I said? What's good for one is bad for the other. Good versus evil.
This makes no fucking sense. At the end of the day, you told us that you think that Donald Trump would have been better for the economy than Kamala Harris or any Democrat running in the race because he's a businessman. So you're saying if businessman, then good for the economy. If better businessman, then even better for the economy. economy, meaning that because Elon Musk is a better businessman than Trump, he's going to be more knowledgeable on the economy. And because Elon Musk said that Donald Trump is mishandling the economy with a higher level of business as it relates, higher level of knowledge as it relates to the business and the economy, this would just reduce down to the conclusion that Elon Musk knows better than Trump, and Elon Musk has detested Trump's economic policy.
Well, I think that has something to do with the fact that what was in the bill was not good for Musk and his businesses.
So then why didn't he detest Trump before the bill passed, even though he knew that he was going to revoke the EV mandate?
Well, the other thing is Musk was losing a lot of his business because a majority of his customers, I don't know about a majority, but a fair amount of his customers, enough to affect his business, were stopping buying his Tesla cars. And so, for all we know, it's just a smoking gun.
How about this? Can you just name one policy? Can you just name one policy that Trump has passed that you're a fan of? I want to get all this baseless fucking rhetoric out of the way.
One of his policies, I'm not going to go into policies, but things that he's done. I think it's a good thing to have, the tariffs. It does two things for us. It gives us a negotiating chip, something to bring to the table. And secondly, it allows, if you understand how economics work, when we send all of our stuff out of the country, we end up with a higher percentage of people who are unemployed or working at lower wage jobs. So if we bring more manufacturing here, there will be a higher number of people here in America working in America, where the government is able to collect, taxes off of those people. If there are more people working here, and then there's less people not working, the working people don't have to pay as much money to support the people who aren't working. Okay, that's one thing. Secondly, as far as the deportations, I don't think Trump doesn't want anybody here who's who's from out of the country, but from an economic standpoint, if you think about it, if there are too many people coming in too quickly and not able to get settled in without collecting money off of our government, then what ends up happening is we end up having, the issue of supply and demand. We have a whole lot more people who are not paying in on taxes, right? And then we also have to, we're only trucking in so much food. We're only getting so much fuel. So with supply and demand, by having over a certain amount of people here, that drives the cost of everything up. So I think that's part of the reason why the cost of things are dropping, and everybody's asking for the cost of food and fuel to drop. It might not have dropped as much as we'd like to see yet, but I think a lot of that has to do with the supply and demand.
Okay, so you think could you agree that your argument for mass deportation would hinge on the assumption that undocumented immigrants are less likely to participate in the supply side of the economy?
I think immigrants are a crucial part of our economy.
You're not answering my question, because you just told me that the reason why you support mass deportation is. Can you let me talk?
No. Okay. No. I'm saying that here's why I understand why Trump was doing that.
Can you just let me talk?
Now, whether or not. Okay, go ahead. Speak.
So you told us that you support mass deportation because you think all of these undocumented immigrants need things to live. They rely on the government. They don't pay taxes. Okay. And they drive prices up. Would you agree that a hidden assumption in this argument is that undocumented immigrants don't participate or are less likely to participate in the supply side of the economy?
I think they're actually very likely to participate.
Okay, if they're very likely to participate in the production of goods and commodities, this just means that they're more likely to work, which also means they're more likely to pay taxes. And it means they're more likely to drive prices down since more goods are being produced.
Eventually.
Not eventually. That's what's happening right now. Today, there's 8.3 million undocumented workers working. It's not an eventually. It's not a projection. It's not in the future. It's right now.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that as truth. Okay. But years ago, when people would come into the country, right, they would, even if they came in illegally,
So if you accept that as truth, then you concede the argument.
Yes, I completely understand the argument. But what I'm trying to get into is a little bit deeper than that. When people from other countries would come into America, a lot of them would already have families. They would already have jobs set up. They would have somewhere to go. But when we had the gates wide open, people were just flooding in without any plans, without, just under the assumption that they were going to be able to get on welfare and eventually get on their feet. And that, is a huge drain on the economy. Now, if they came in, documented or not documented, already had plans in place, already had somewhere to go, a job lined up, and didn't have that drain on the economy.
I've already told you that what you're saying here is not true, because your argument.
Well, I'm telling you
your
that
argument.
it is.
No, your argument would amount to the idea that they're less likely to participate in the labor force since they're draining welfare trying to find a job, right?
Well, it takes a lot of time. To
Right,
be able
right.
To do that.
So the culmination
don't
of your.
have it already
Would you
set up.
agree that
So
the
if you-
conclusion of your argument would be that undocumented immigrants would be less likely to participate in the labor force? If everything that you're saying is true, that they're draining welfare and they're just trying to get on their feet since they're flooding in, the conclusion here would be that they're less likely to participate in the labor force, right?
Okay, when they come in,
I just yes. No, I want a yes or no. If your argument is true, then is it also true that therefore undocumented immigrants would be less likely to participate in the labor force because your argument would suggest they're trying to get on their feet, don't know what their plan is, living on welfare, right?
Well, they're going to eventually, yes. But most of it, listen.
You're not answering my question.
Well, you're not making your question very clear.
Okay, I'll make it so incredibly clear. You're telling me that undocumented immigrants have flooded into the country. They're living off of welfare. They don't have a plan. They're not on their feet. They're just trying to figure out what to do. The conclusion here would be, if everything that you're saying is true, then undocumented immigrants are less likely to be participating in the labor force because they're not on their feet, because they've flooded entry, because they don't have a plan, because they're living on welfare.
Yes,
right?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Okay. So in other words, if undocumented immigrants are not less likely to participate in the labor force, then your argument is false, correct?
I didn't say that.
You just did by affirming that a necessary conclusion of your position would implicate that it is true that they're less likely to participate in the labor force. If that's a necessary implication from your position, if said implication is not true, then your original argument is false. Think about it. Basically, if X is true, then Y is also true, necessarily. If Y was false, then X is also false, necessarily, right?
Well, you can make that assumption, yes.
Okay, so if X is true, if undocumented immigrants come in here without a plan, not on their feet, living off of welfare, then Y is also true, that therefore they're less likely to participate in the labor force. Well, if Y is false, then X is also false, that undocumented immigrants are coming in here to live off of welfare, they're not on their feet, etc. Right?
They're not coming here with the intent of staying on
I just want a
welfare.
yes or no. I just want a yes or no.
So, right. If you were to move to another place.
No, I just want a yes or no to my
what if
question. I just want a yes or no to the question.
Yes, they're a lot of them are a drain.
That's
Yes.
also not the question that I'm at. I didn't ask you if a lot of them are a drain. But the question that I asked you was if it is the case that undocumented immigrants are not less likely to participate in the labor force, then your original argument that they're draining the economy, living off of welfare, not on their feet, and don't have a plan is false, right?
Say that one more time.
Bro, I've
think
only
you're-
repeated it 10 times. I'll repeat it
No,
again.
well, yeah, I know,
So,
but
so you agreed with me that a expected necessary consequence of your position that undocumented immigrants just don't have a plan, they don't have a job, they're living off of welfare, they're not on their feet. A necessary implication of this argument, if it were to be true, would therefore also be the necessary implication would be that they're less likely to participate in the labor force, right?
That isn't true. No.
So how could they
That's
be
not
more
true.
likely to work and less likely to work simultaneously? That is literally a contradiction. You can't tell me that they're
No,
all
it's
just
not.
living off of welfare
No,
without a job, not paying taxes, and don't have a plan.
what you're
But they're
saying-
also more likely to pay taxes because they're more likely to work. You are now being exposed as a hypocritical, contradictory
I'm not.
a-hole with no true argument.
No, because so people don't just do the same thing. Like if you moved somewhere and didn't have a job, you wouldn't continue to not have a job. And that's what you're implying. You're implying that if somebody moves somewhere and doesn't have a job, that they'll never get one. And what I'm saying is it takes time for these people to get on their feet. So yes, it takes time, and that costs taxpayers money.
So therefore, the demographic as a whole would be less likely to participate in the labor force, right?
number one, this all has to do with the geographic location.
Okay, I'm cutting you off because you literally are just saying words. Like you're not actually giving me an argument that you understand. You're literally just repeating talking points. So we're going to go ahead and clear a couple things up real quick. I'm done trying to be reasonable with you to explain what a logical implication is. I'm done with that because you don't know what you're saying. You don't know what I'm saying. You're just speaking to speak. So I think that we need to clear up on a couple points. First and foremost, you made the claim that undocumented immigrants are a net drain on the economy. That's not true. They don't even qualify for federal benefits like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, Section 8, federal USDA food stamps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They can't qualify for them since they don't have legal residency or citizenship. And that is a requirement for all and any federal benefits. Yeah. In fact, they pay $100 billion per year in taxes, and they pay more in taxes disproportionately compared to citizens since they can't file for a tax return. That's also true. Yeah. And then your claim that more of them are more likely to not work, be lazy, without a plan, not on their feet, is also not true. Why? Because more of them are of working age. Because more of them are of working age, more of them are likely to participate in the labor force. If you want to know who the true drainers of the economy are, that aren't working, that aren't contributing, that aren't providing, it's literally American citizens born into this country. Because most of them don't work, don't contribute, don't provide, and only drain for the first 17 or 18 years of their life. Undocumented immigrants come into this country at a working age. The moment they enter, they're already contributing. That's why they're more likely to participate in the labor force. That's why they pay so much in taxes. That's why they're a net productive provider into the economy.
Yeah. I don't think so.
What did I say that was wrong? I could give you a source for anything that I said. Like for instance, my source that they pay $100 billion per year in taxes, that's coming from the IRS. My source that they're more likely to contribute and work in the economy, that's coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as well as the American Center for Progress and Immigration.
More like 300 billion.
300 billion would be the projected GDP contribution based upon the amount of money that they pay in taxes.
Okay, all right. So that's what I had. All right, but I never said that. So when you go to move somewhere, you have to have a plan, right? If you can't support yourself, so what you're doing is you're saying that what I'm saying is wrong. Just basically, you're just trying to make anybody sound wrong.
I don't know. I don't even know what you're saying. I don't even know what you're saying. In two sentences or less, why is not next subject.
I know what I'm talking about.
In 5 sentences or less, why is mass deportation a good thing?
I don't think it's a great thing, honestly. But,
so it's a bad thing?
The American Trump's doing what the American people asked for. Drive down the prices.
You can't even answer it. Dude, is mass deportation good or bad?
It's neither. It's neither good nor bad.
Do you support mass deportation?
Obama,
yes or no?
Look, Obama.
Not Obama. Yes or no? We're not talking about Obama right now. We need to figure out if you even support this policy or not first. Yes or no? Do you support mass deportation?
I think what we call this is, yes and no. I can see the argument for both.
Oh my goodness. You can't even give me one solidified claim of why you support Trump. This is so insufferable. I'm going to bash my head against this table.
What he's doing is better for the American people.
What is one good what is one good thing that he's doing for the American people? Be specific.
Okay. We just had the largest surplus last month in the history of this country. I think that's a pretty good.
What caused that surplus? It also wasn't in the history of the country. It's the largest surplus in June in 10 years. So what caused that surplus? My source is literally Caroline Levitt's press conference 2 days ago.
We have never broke 100 billion before. We hit 130 or 140 billion.
It was actually just
a lot of it was tariffs.
Okay. So the reason why we shouldn't support that is because what generated that surplus through the taxable income off of those tariffs is inevitably disproportionately for poor Americans. Paid for by poor Americans. I'll give you my argument. So the tariff is ultimately passed off to the consumer. One, okay. Low-income consumers pay a larger proportion of their income on the bare necessities to live than higher income consumers. Two, and because they spend a greater proportion of their income on the bare necessities to live, this also thereby means that they spend a greater proportion of their income on that tariff that's passed off to the consumer. Three. So because the less money you make, the greater proportion of your income you spend to pay that tariff bill, this just essentially amounts to them spending a greater proportion of their income to generate that June surplus. Why are we imposing regressive taxes that impact you more the less money you make to generate more money for this government?
Well, you got to have tariffs because if you don't,
I want you to respond to my
the
argument about the
economy.
surplus. That surplus has been disproportionately paid for by low-income Americans. Respond. What are your thoughts?
Well, the reason
that surplus has been disproportionately paid for by low-income Americans. It's been paid for by taxing poor people more.
No, it's taxing the companies, and then they have to set their price.
I literally gave you an argument. Don't just say no. No, don't just say no. Okay. Don't just say no. I want you to combat my argument. My argument very, very specifically being that the tariff is ultimately passed off to the consumer because large corporations don't operate at the profit margins required to consume that tariff. Low-income consumers spend a greater proportion of their income on their bare necessities to live, and because they spend a greater proportion of their income on goods that they buy from these big corporations that are passing that tariff off to the consumer, thereby they also spend a greater proportion of their income on that tariff. I'm not going to interrupt you. I just want you to very specifically respond to that argument.
Well, because a lot of people so as far as the tariffs go, so yes, the consumers are people buying the stuff, but the companies, if they think that they can charge, add on the extra cost of what they're paying in tariffs on the product, they're going to do it. If the people stop paying for it, then they have to lower their prices, and then the company will be the ones paying the tariff and then losing that. That's what we call a profit margin. So they're trying to not lose a profit margin by passing that on to the consumer. So it's the consumer's fault for continuing to spend the money and cover the cost of the tariff. So
wait, it's the consumer's fault for needing food to live?
No, because there's a lot of things that we pay tariffs on, and different types of food are different amounts of tariffs. And we produce a lot of food ourselves. So if we have more people producing food here, we don't have to buy as much food over there.
But this is now a totally different argument because remember, we're particularly talking about the surplus. Dude, shut the fuck up. You are by far the most insufferable guest I've had up in a while. I'm not enjoying the debates this stream at all. I've been live for 2 hours. I'm ready to get off. Like, I'm not even kidding. Today's just been terrible. And you are making it even worse. Dude, I gave you an argument to demonstrate that that tariff is disproportionately paid for by low-income Americans, and then ultimately your rebuttal is to say that it's the poor people's fault for needing food to live. Fuck it, dude. Are we serious? And then also for you to suggest that the companies can absorb those tariffs, I already gave you an argument against that. You ignored my argument and then just repeated the false claim. The argument I've already given you against the idea that they can't just consume the tariff is because the tariffs are greater than their profit margins. Mega corporations maybe operate at a profit margin of 4%. These tariffs, 35%. They absorb those tariffs, they go out of business. They have to pass them off to the consumer in order to stay in the green. And then once again, for you to say that it's the consumer's fault for having to spend money on the bare necessities to live is like saying that it's the consumer of the resources of emergency room's fault for still buying the $5,000 stitches required to keep their fucking, I don't know, like heart in their chest or finger on when it gets cut off. Like, of course they're going to consume these. They have an inelastic demand. If you know anything about economics, you know what an inelastic demand is. And inelastic demands, right, without restriction, generate absurdly high costs. And when we're talking about the bare necessities to live, right, a lot of them do have inelastic demands. So equilibrium price isn't calculated by what the consumer's willing to pay. It's calculated by how much the consumer can pay. So that was also wrong.
So a lot of the fact that number where the profit margin is so low is because the cost of labor has gone up so fast because of all of the inflation ever since COVID.
Why are we talking about COVID now? I'm still trying to get, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? We are supposed to be talking about the surplus generated for the federal government in June by tariffs. I gave you an argument to show that that surplus is being disproportionately paid for by low-income Americans because they're spending a greater proportion of their income on those tariffs since they're being passed off to the consumer, since the importers have to pass it off to the consumer, else they're going to go out of business because that tariff is larger than the profit margins that they generate. The first time I gave you this argument, you started yapping on about how it's the consumer's fault, so I got fed up as fuck with you, and I told you how I already addressed that argument. I brought up the nuances of inelastic demand, of how consumers need these goods to live, so of course they're going to buy them, and then on the flip side of the coin about how they can't, the sellers can't absorb the tariff, because if they did, they'd go out of business since their profit margins are smaller than the percentage of the tariff that are being applied on these goods, and then you just ignore all of that, and then you start talking about COVID. Let me be honest with you. This is disrespectful as fuck, and I my energy, my effort into explaining to you why you're wrong, just so I could demonstrate what is true of the reality around us. I've done my research. I've studied these things. I've done so much in-depth, research into the nuances of why tariffs don't work, why tariffs are a regressive tax on the poor, and I've done a lot of practice of how to purport these concepts and describe the facts of the matter to you in a way that you could understand. And I believe that I've done that multiple times now, but every single time I'm making this argument, you're ignoring it. You're ignoring it. And then you just start talking about other stuff. Listen, man, I don't want your goal here to be to try to win the debate. And when you get got on a point that you can't respond to just ignore the point and then to start talking about COVID. I want the goal of our conversation on both sides to not be to exhaust one another. I want it to be to seek truth and gain like a common understanding of what is factual of the world around us. And that's what I'm trying to get you to do. I want change, dude. And the way that I'm trying to achieve change within this conversation is to describe why your claims are wrong with data, fact, and reason. And you've been on here for like 45 minutes, and every single time I give you one of these arguments, you just ignore it. That's why I'm crashing out. It is so disrespectful on top of being annoying. So let's just try one last time here to actually not speak past one another and to hear each other for what we're saying. I apologize for crashing out at you. I try my hardest to keep it together in these conversations, and sometimes I just can't. Okay, and maybe that means I could try harder, right? But the argument that I want you to really like hear and respond to here is as follows. Okay. You said that the surplus generated by our federal government in June is a good thing. I said it's not a good thing because we could agree that was generated by the tariffs, and those tariffs are a regressive tax on poor people that disproportionately impact them. The reason why they disproportionately impact them is because those tariffs are passed off to the consumer, and low-income Americans spend more of their money on consumption. Right? So that means they spend more of their money on that tariff that is passed off to the buyers, to the consumers, to the purchasers. So when you're gloating about the surplus generated by our government, you're simply just describing money raised by the world's largest bureaucracy disproportionately on the backs of low-income Americans. That's what I want you to address. I don't want you to be addressing inflation caused by COVID.
Okay, fair. So when... yes, in order to increase the cost of living, which, for people to make more money, we have to have more higher paying jobs in this country, which is really the end goal I believe, of tariffs is to get a lot of the companies who send their businesses over to other countries to have products made for a lower cost and then sent back to America, right? Because so if you bring that back here, there's more money to go around. Because if you take money, like a lot of people take their money, they send it to another country, you know, that money is now being spent over there. We have a smaller amount, a smaller pool of money to work with. So there's less money to go around. So by bringing that back here, you know, will be able to afford to, you know, the businesses will be able to afford and have larger profit margins so that people can make more money. I think that's the end goal. I think we all want our country to do well. You know, you can call me what, you know, I understand that we're in a two-party system where Republicans and Democrats, but, you know, if I was to get down to the nitty-gritty, I'm basically just what do you call that? A classic liberal. All right. I'm somewhere in between the two, but I understand the concept of the tariffs. Do I think it's a hard transition? Yes. I think it's not good right now for people, but I think if we were to stick to it, the end result would be a good end result. That is just my view on it. All right. From all the research that I've done, and I'm not saying that your view is wrong. I'm just saying based on the information that I've gathered from all the research that I've done and using logic and all, you know, deducing different scenarios, I think that is the right direction. But if we go in a direction, you know, a business or a country, whatever, needs to continue to go in the same direction. But if every 4 years we switch back and forth directions, we're never going to get off our feet. At least not if the parties are so divided. That's just my view.
Bro, you talked about the division of political parties. That didn't respond to my point on why the surplus in June was actually a bad thing. You talked about how you think that the tariffs are going to drive more manufacturing in the long term. That didn't respond to my point how the surplus generated in June is actually a bad thing. You talked about how it's going to switch every 4 years. This didn't explain why my argument that demonstrated why the surplus in June was a bad thing was wrong. So can you, in like 2 sentences or less, right, reduce your argument down to the main points to respond to my point why the surplus generated in June on the backs of low Americans is wrong?
I'm not saying it's wrong. I just think it needs to change.
So
and I think that's where we're heading.
So I'm right then? The surplus generated in June was not preferable because it was generated on the backs of low-income Americans?
Unfortunately, that's the way it has to be in order for things to change. You know, anytime that there's
so what change is going to justify a regressive tax on poor people? What is the result we can expect?
Well, it's not a tax on poor people.
Yes, it is.
I mean, well, you can look at it that way, but it affects
Why
everybody.
is it not a regressive tax that disproportionately impacts poor people?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've never really used the word regressive. I only know how it's used in context. So why don't you tell me exactly what it means?
Yeah, just like a progressive taxation system is one that taxes you more the more money that you make. A regressive taxation system is one that taxes you more the less money you make. So when I say that tariffs are a regressive tax on poor people, it just means that it disproportionately negatively impacts poor people.
Yeah, so they're paying a higher percentage of their money.
Right.
I get what you. Yes, not that they're paying a higher percentage. Okay. Yeah, so it's not really a regressive.
What?
But yes.
So how is that not regressive if they're paying a higher percentage of their income on the tariff?
Because they're still paying the same amount of money for eggs. They're just paying a larger percentage of the money that they have for those eggs.
Right.
So it's not actually it's not actually regressive, but it's under
that is regressive.
Well, so it's like
it's regressive because of the diminishing returns of the value of the dollar.
I mean, I'm trying not to go back to the whole cause and effect of how things have gone over the last 5 years.
Wait, how things have gone over the last 5 years has no relevance insofar as the diminishing return of the value of the dollar and how it is a regressive tax if you disproportionately tax the income of a low-income American, because $1 to a low-income American is significantly more valuable than $1 to a millionaire or a billionaire. That's what the
Right,
diminishing
yeah.
returns of the value of the dollar means. And because of the diminishing returns of the value of a dollar, yes, tariffs are regressive tax on poor people since they're
using the
spending
word
a greater
diminishing.
proportion of their income on the bare necessities to live.
So you're using diminishing return incorrectly, but I get what you're trying to say.
How am I
So
using that
diminishing
incorrectly?
return- so for like a business, right? If you're running a business, say McDonald's, for instance.
No, I don't want
and
you to
have-
tell me what it is. I want you to tell me how I'm
and
using it
you-
incorrectly.
Well, the only way I can do that is to show you by example. So if you have, say, McDonald's, you got 5 people that working the shift, right? You're going to bring in the same amount of money regardless. So if you put 15 people on, now even though you can get 3 times as much work done, you're not actually going to make any more money. It's actually going to get to the point where you're losing money. That's actually what diminishing return means.
That's not true.
And, yes, it is.
No,
I've
no.
run a business for
The
17
concept, the concept of diminishing returns is that the more units you have of something, the less valuable each additional unit is.
Yeah, but you think so?
Yes. So like an application of diminishing returns to like employees at a business would be, maybe if you have one employee, that one employee could generate you $50 a day. But if you have 2 employees, the second employee might be able to generate you $40 a day. The third employee, 30. The fourth employee, 25. The fifth employee, 10. The sixth employee, 5. So each additional unit of an employee that you have, the less valuable each one would be. That's going to be an application of a law of diminishing returns.
Right. And that's exactly what I just said, right?
No,
when I made
because
my
what you
when
said
get to
was
a
that
certain point, right? But that based on math, like on a graph chart. At some point, you start to go into the
so I just want to clarify that you're now affirming that my definition of diminishing returns is correct. So I just want to clarify that when I use that phrase to reference the diminishing returns, stop interrupting me. So when I use the phrase diminishing returns of the value of the dollar, that was a correct application because every additional dollar that you have, the value of each dollar decreases. Like $1 to somebody that only has $10 is significantly more valuable in respect to somebody with $1 billion, right?
I guess you can use it in that context.
Right, I
understand.
I can. So then because of the law of diminishing returns and its application to like the value of each unit of money, because poor people have less money overall than rich people, even if you take the same amount of money from each person, poor and rich, because each unit of money that you're taking is going to be more valuable to poor people compared to rich people, it's still going to be disproportionately taxing the poor people compared to the rich people, since those dollars are more valuable.
Okay.
You're extracting a disproportionate amount of value from low-income Americans.
At first, I didn't understand exactly where you're going with that, but when you explained it, it makes sense. But for the same reason,
So therefore, tariffs are a regressive tax on poor people since you're extracting a disproportionate amount of value from them.
And inflation is a more regressive form of taxation on poor people.
Okay. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, that was all controlled by the government. The government didn't have to
what the fuck that has no relevance whatsoever. No, you're not asking me a question. Now that you've conceded that tariffs are a regressive tax on poor people, why do you think that regressively taxing poor people is good?
Something that we could have dealt with.
How could we have dealt with the regressive tax on poor people that's applied with the use of tariffs without just simply not imposing the tariffs?
Well, because of the amount of inflation.
Inflation is a completely separate and distinct conversation from tariffs. Like in this sense, we're talking about the inflation onset by tariffs, and now that is a regressive tax on poor people. We're not talking about government spending right now. We're talking about inflation and it caused by tariffs. Stay on one topic at a time. Stay on one topic at a time. This is the same exact thing that you did with the last topic. You couldn't respond, so you brought up various different points. Stick on one topic at a time. Right now, we're not talking about how much money the government spent when Biden was president. Right now, we're talking about how you think that tariffs are an ultimate good thing, even though you've now conceded that tariffs are a aggressive tax on the poor people. Only talk about tariffs. We could talk about anything else after this, but we're only talking about one thing right now. Fucking focus. Why do you support a regressive tax on poor people?
I support, because in the long run, it won't be a regressive tax on poor people, because there won't be as many poor people. Anytime that you go through a large transfer of wealth, which is what this is, right? That's what every recession and every depression is. Those are the times where there's the largest transfer of wealth, right? Am I wrong?
So are all the poor people just going to die?
No.
What's going to happen to them?
Well, right now, a lot of them are collecting benefits off the government.
Okay, I'm kidding.
And
I'm so sorry. I tried to get you to focus on one topic, dude. Instead of just responding to why you think that tariffs will pull more people out of poverty in the long run, you're now just talking about how poor people collect benefits from the government, dude. Completely incoherent gibberator, literally straight, completely incoherent gibberator. Just completely fucking gibberish. Literally just word salad. His debate tactic was to say words.
Talked for a while.
That was his debate tactic. Was literally just to say words. Fucking hell. I think I'm gonna cut the stream short today. After that shit, I can't deal with it. I cannot deal with these guests all day. You know, like the tactic is just to come up here and say words. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I just wanted
How old
to
are you?
say that I'm 46.
Okay, go for it.
I just wanted to let you know, if you read the CBO report about June, it's not actually a surplus. It's because payments that were slated for June 1st fell on a Sunday, and they, of course, give it early to people on a May 30th. So it's actually a $71 billion deficit.
Cool.
So you can look it up. The Treasury, it says it too.
Awesome, that's cool. Now, why do you support Trump?
I don't support Trump. I just wanted to let you know he's running on June being a surplus. It's not actually a surplus.
Oh, well, I appreciate you so much for the knowledge. Thank you so much for letting me know. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone just give us a minute. Let's go to get that next guest, Lucas, loaded into the live, y'all. While we're getting the next guest loaded in, we did get a handful of donations when we were talking to Benjamin. I think that we should take a moment here and thank them real quick. Janelle, thank you for the $5 over at Venmo, saying, I don't know how you do this. I don't have enough patience. Keep on doing what you're doing. You are fantastic. Janelle, I really appreciate that. Guess like the last one just truly tests the patience that I have. But they also make me more patient. You know, like what has like made me more patient over the ages is like just truly having it like perpetually tested. You know, like maybe if you've been watching for a long time, you know, like you'll remember like a year ago, I was significantly less patient with my guests, right? But then I just had that patience perpetually tested. And it just continues to get to the point where I just am immune to the idiocracy more and more and more. So like even that last conversation I had with that guy will just make me even more immune to like another guest like him a week or two from now. You know what I mean? Like that's the shit that builds up my patience over time. Because I have to learn how to deal with that in order to like not want to like fucking bash my brains out on this table in front of me. Blake, thank you for the $25 donation over at Vim. I appreciate you so much for the love. Blake says, "Boomer's gonna boom. Cook him, Dean. He's insufferable. Now debating my dad." Blake, I'd love to debate your dad. I have a request up here. Thank you for the $25 though, Blake. I do really appreciate you so much for the love. Can we please get 250 Blake W's for the $25 donation? That'd be so incredibly kind of y'all. Thank you so much for the love, Mr. Blake. As well as Tina 16 minutes ago with the $20 over on Venmo. Tina says, I will never understand MAGA's desperate support of billionaires and corporations over the average person. That's what you do. You're incredibly important. Thank you for the love, Tina. Thank you so much for the kind message in the $20. Let's get 200 W's for Tina as well. And then Joshua, thank you for the $20 over in Venmo 42 minutes ago. Let's also get 200 Joshua W's. Joshua, thank you so much for the love. That's so incredibly kind. And then Denise, I really hope that you're still here. Denise with the $100 donation over on PayPal around 30 minutes ago at the start of that last conversation. That is so incredibly kind of you, Denise. Let's get 1,000 Denise W's for the incredibly kind donation. Thank you, Denise, for the $100. Denise says, I want to scream into a pillow each time people don't get that hypothetical situations are a valuable part of a successful debate, as they allow for an exploration of ideas, testing of arguments, and an examination of potential consequences. Peace from Bear. Bear, I couldn't have said it better myself. Hypotheticals are incredibly important for good debate. Thank you so much for the $100, Bear. And then Martin, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. They say Israel announced that they will now begin the Greater Israel Project. All of the IDF have new patches to wear showing that they will control most of the Mideast to MAGA. Why should we keep funding them? I'm going to have to look into that, but I do know that they're now urging like other countries to accept Palestinian refugees, which I just think gives like more credence towards, like ethnic cleansing. Like they just want them out, regardless if they're killing them or just sending them elsewhere. Thank you for the $10, as well as Yanni. Thank you for the $5 saying, love you, Dean. Watch you every day. You keep me educated. Yanni, thank you so much for being in here. Thank you for the $5 donation. You are awesome. Then Emma with a 7, Anthony with a 5. Thank you guys so much for the love. Please show some love to all of our donors down below in that chat. If you're watching and you'd like to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio over on TikTok. I get 100% of the proceeds over there. They all go straight to me, as well as you could add a message, which I can read off on live. If you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to support me over on Venmo and PayPal, you can find them in the pinned message or in the link tree in the description of the live stream. I appreciate you guys so much. Including Michael, thank you for the $10 super chat over on YouTube super chat, saying I get the frustration. He pissed me off too, but yelling is a bad look. The yelling really makes it harder for them to actually hear what you're saying. No, I agree, Michael. That's why I try my hardest not to do that, and my patience grows over time. And that's even why I was like apologizing to the dude after I crashed out on him. I couldn't agree more. It's always a bad look. That's why I always try to prevent myself from doing that. Welcome in Rhythm. Do you support Trump? All right, he's not here. We're going to move on to the next guest, TQ. Right now, everybody, just give us a minute, y'all, while we're working on loading that next guest up. Sid, thank you so much for the $30 over on Venmo. Let's get 300 Sid W's. Thank you so much for your kindness, Sid. Thank you. Sid says, oh, my MAGA dad is currently not sober right now and agreed to debate you, but I've come to the conclusion that I don't want you to quit your job, so I'm officially going to let that one go. Sid, it's up to you. I would debate your father right now. I'm just saying, I would debate your dad. I would. If you want to join the queue, I'd happily have a conversation with him. I'd be incredibly respectful too. My perspective is that, if you want to get him on, please do. I'd love to have a chat. I'll be respectful. If you want to bring him up, feel free to hop in that queue right now, and I will happily bring you up. Welcome in, Dominic. Do you support Trump? Dominic's not here, so we're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everyone. Do be patient, everybody. Let's go to get that next guest loaded into the live Trump, y'all. Welcome in. Do you support Trump?
Hi. I do.
Okay, how old are you?
24.
All right. What year were you born in?
2001.
Okay, you sound pretty young. Let's see. I need to ask you some...
Yeah, I do.
I need to ask you...
I couldn't agree more.
I need to ask you some age confirmation questions here. Do you work?
No, not yet.
Red flag. Do you rent?
Excuse me?
Do you rent a house? Do you own a house?
I live with my parents.
Yeah, sorry. Too many red flags for me. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute to get that next guest up in here. We got Mr. Feast real loading in. By the way, it's like totally possible for a 24-year-old to not work and live with their parents, and I don't really like criticize it either. I understand that individual situations can be complex. However, just the culmination of those facts alongside the fact that she sounded really young lends a conclusion to me that I think that she was lying. Welcome in, Mr. Feast. Do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you?
18.
All right. So why do you support Trump? What year were you born in?
Chose 2006.
Okay. All right. So why do you support Trump?
I mean, personally, I just believe he's a better candidate.
Okay. What is he doing that you're a fan of?
Well, I like his stance on the immigration.
Oh, like mass deportation and whatnot?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to talk about how were you when Obama and Clinton were also trying to deport immigrants?
I was learning how to do basic math equations in second grade.
All right, fair. That's a fair point. But looking back, would you support like Obama if he did that, or are you totally just against it, or is it more of just a Trump thing?
I'm against the removal of any and all undocumented immigrants without prior violent offenses, outstanding criminal warrants from other countries, or pretty insane non-violent criminal offenses. This would apply to Trump as it would apply to Biden, Obama, etc. But because Trump is president right now, that's what I'm honing in on. I hold a great disdain for him and his policy because he wants to remove every undocumented immigrant. And in a lot of circumstances, he's been doing so illegally, like he did with Abrigo Garcia or Venezuelan immigrants. But overall, I think that mass deportation is a terrible policy because it doesn't help our country in any way, shape, or form.
All right. Well, I would like to make a little comparison almost. So if you go to a football game, right?
Right.
And you do not have a ticket and you sneak into the football game, maybe you're boosting like the fans cheering, right? So it might be good for the team. But if you get caught, you're going to get kicked out, because you don't have a ticket.
Okay. All right.
And I feel like that, like, in a way, ties into some of the immigration that's happening.
Yeah, well, the big difference there is the reason we ticket sports events is for security in the sports events because it becomes overcrowded, crowds can form, and people could die, right? There's a negative outcome that justifies ticketing the events. So now, what is the positive outcome of mass deportation that justifies mass deportation?
I mean, frankly, it's just I want people to come to the country, but if you're doing it illegally, I mean, you're committing a crime. It's illegal. You should.
Okay. Well, I mean, I want you to answer my question. Crimes are wrong because of the negative outcomes that they generate, not because they're crimes. Like when it was a crime for two men to get married, I wouldn't say that it was wrong for two men to get married because that crime didn't generate any negative outcomes. And if you think that people should be kicked out of our country for a misdemeanor, why do you think that Trump should be kicked out of the White House for 34 felonies?
I mean, that's a fair point. I just think Trump, he's just better political, really. He's just better politically.
I know, and you'd think that because you support mass deportation, but I would like you to name one positive outcome of mass deportation on this country, and I'd also ask you to be specific.
Well, frankly, I don't have the statistics in front of me of what it could boost and not boost. I just personally think that more people come to the country would boost it, but coming illegally, I'm just against that. I don't know why people would try to fight for that.
Well, I am also against undocumented entry. However, I think that our government is ultimately responsible for undocumented entry. Because the root incentive for undocumented entry of so many immigrants is the fact that the legal means of entry are so unattainable as they take so long, as Congress hasn't done anything to fix them, make them faster / better at all in modern American history, since they like to use undocumented entry that is created by unattainable legal means as a talking point for elections to get votes and gain support. Nobody wants to be an undocumented immigrant. Nobody wants to be targeted by our government and targeted socially. Nobody wants to be ineligible to qualify for a loan to buy a house. Nobody wants to be ineligible to qualify for federal benefits or get a tax return, even though they still got to pay taxes if they work as an employee. The only reason why they do these things is it's because it is the only attainable way to achieve a higher quality of life in this country. Because waiting 20 or 25 years for citizenship is just unattainable for most, right? Now, keeping that in mind, the reason why I don't support mass deportation doesn't have much to do with what has sparked undocumented entry, and all to do with the fact that the removal of undocumented immigrants hurts this country, and there's other plans, such as mass amnesty, where we could identify every person in this country that makes this country better.
All right.
Blake, thank you for the $25 donation over on Venmo. Blake says, last caller is just like my dad, speaks slowly, says nothing, long stories to fiend wisdom. Your yelling worked on him and it works similar on boomers. They're not used to being challenged or treated like the cucks they are. He said, kill the poor, fuck him, keep yelling, bro. Appreciate you for that love, Blake. Show some love to Blake down below. King Blake, dude, holy shit. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Mr. Feast.
That's all I really wanted to talk about. I see where you're coming from now. You know.
No worries at all, dude. Hope you have a good rest of your day, bro.
Hey, you too, Dean.
Of course, we're going to move on to the next guest. Let us know down below if you'd like to come up, y'all. Let us know down below if you'd like to come up. Make sure if you're in that queue, you support Trumpity Trump. Yippee. We're going to move on to Danny. We got Danny loading up in the box right now. Hello, Danny. Do you support Trump? Danny. Dan. Also, Sid, thank you for the $10. I read your message and you got it. I trust you. You got it, Sid. We're going to move on to Lazy Welch. Here we go. Everybody on TikTok, make sure that we're double tapping. And Joe Lish, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube Super Chat. Joe Lish says, I noticed today is economy focused. A lot of my MAGA friends say the economy is good and inflation is low and GDP is good, etc., etc., etc. I don't have a good response other than it will get bad in the future. Any advice? Sure. Literally just start by asking them what Donald Trump did to cause it. 9 out of 10 friends that you ask that question to are going to be stun locked at that given moment in time, and you won't have to press them further. Moving on to the next guest, we got Truth Set loading up in the box. Here we go, everybody. Let's go to get the next guest connected. Joe, once again, thank you for the $20. And Stephanie did this just in with a $5 donation over on PayPal. Thank you for love, Stephanie. Then Anonymous, thank you for the $6.60 over on Venmo saying that Ben deserved it. He was insufferable. As a woke as fuck 53-year-old Gen Xer, thank you for continuing to make us proud and giving us hope with your generation. Thank you for the love. Welcome in, Truth. Do you support Trump?
No.
All right.
But
please don't join that queue then. Go ahead and put a MAGA with your age down below in that comment section if you'd like to come up and have a debate with me. Right now, we're just looking for one guest. Space, thank you for the DJ glasses. Hope, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Let's see what Hope has to say here. Thank you so much, Hope. Let's get 100 Hope W's. Hope says, got money from my MAGA dad and had to give you some lol. Have a good day. Yo, let's go, Hope. Hell yes, dude. I know I said 100 Hope W's. I'm at 1,000 Hope W's. All right, everybody, let's get 1,000 Hope W's. Welcome in, Momo. Do you support Trump?
I am in between. I just want a rundown of the beautiful bill because I'm kind of slow. If you can just explain it.
No, don't call yourself that. I'll give you a couple points real quick. I'm going to kick you and look for the next guest, but I'll give you the points while I'm looking for that next guest. The big beautiful bill sucked because it's the most expensive bill ever passed through the American Congress. It sucks because it's kicking 17 million people off of Medicaid, low-income Americans. It sucks because it's defunding free school student lunches for 18 million students. It sucks because it's kicking 3 million people off of food stamps. It sucks because it's rolling back clean energy credits, which led to the production of more clean energy, which led to lower energy costs for everybody on average. It sucks for a bunch of reasons, but there's a handful. Welcome in, Amelia. Do you support Trump?
Hi. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Are you British?
No. That's just my accent.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm a right-wing woman. Is that okay? Right-wing woman. I'm not British. That's my accent.
Okay. All right. Why do you support Trump?
Because he's bringing the order back. He's letting go of the confusion. He's letting men be men and giving a voice to men, finally, that are being silenced by feminists that are way too entitled nowadays. I mean, feminism, it was needed back then, yes, but nowadays, no. That's just entitlement. Men are being oppressed, women are running wild, don't know their role anymore because they want to work. They don't want to raise children. They don't want to nurture their families. They just want to go solo.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to have a conversation with you. You're not from America, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever not kicked somebody that isn't from America, but I'm not going to kick you. We're going to have a great conversation here. I want to start off with a very simple question. How do you feel about the liberals and their DEI?
DEI? Is that not like driving under the influence?
That's a DUI, silly goose.
Oh.
DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Ben Shapiro, Trump, Charlie
Yeah,
Kirk,
we don't need that.
Their thoughts on this basically amount to shifting our economy from being merit-based to like sex or race-based. How do you feel about that?
But it will always be merit-based.
Do you disagree with an economy that like tells people what to do on the basis of their sex or gender?
No.
No, so you support DEI?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a liberal.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm merit-based.
Oh wait, you're merit-based, so we shouldn't have. We shouldn't. Okay. So what Trump, Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, and everybody has to say about DEI is simple. They're like, oh, well, now we're just hiring black people because they're black. Oh, we're just hiring women because they're women, and we're oppressing white men. We're oppressing white men, right? Yeah. And you agree with them. You think that it's like wrong to have a society that tells people what they should do on the basis of like race or gender, right?
Well, we shouldn't hire people based off race.
But we should have people based off of gender.
My take on
if we should have a merit-based economy that doesn't tell people what they should do on the basis of race, why should we have an economy that tells people what to do on the basis of their gender?
Because we are humans, biology, right? You cannot tell a man, you can't create children. You can't tell a woman you're a woman, your body is made to bear children. You cannot tell her, well, you don't have to have children, that's not your role, even though you bleed every month to literally bear children. Women bleed every month because they have not conceived children.
Okay.
Right? They ovulate.
So you're saying because some women can have children that therefore they should have children.
They should.
Okay. I have a question. Can your fingers play piano?
Do I have a piano built in my body?
No, but can your fingers play piano?
Exactly. I have a uterus built in my body. I bleed every month. I ovulate every month. My body literally, during ovulation, my body...
Okay, so your body can have a baby. Your body can have a child.
It needs to have babies. It needs to have babies. Every month during ovulation,
When you say need, what do you mean?
Every month during ovulation, a woman's drive is at an all-time high. They literally need to mate. They have a high drive during that time.
Wait. So you're saying
that is your body, your brain.
Wait, you're saying because like some individuals might find like sexual intercourse like incredibly desirable at a given time, that therefore because it's incredibly desirable, that therefore they need it. Okay. Well, if I find cocaine incredibly desirable, do I therefore need it?
Well, when you're thirsty, your body, your mouth is dry, right? You're thirsty. Your body is literally telling you, I need to have water now. And what do? You go drink water. When your uterus ovulates and your brain is telling you, I need to mate right now, then that's what you're going to do.
Listen,
right?
if 3 beers and some car keys are very desirable to a stupid 65-year-old white man, does he need to drunk drive?
That is a different thing. We are talking about biology, right?
So like biology driving desire? Wait, so you're saying that biology drives desire?
Yes.
Okay, so if women don't have the desire to have children, then they don't need to have children.
Well, they have been brainwashed. It's not that they don't have the desire. They are scared of it because the society tells them having children is scary nowadays, which is not.
Do you think it's a man roles? Do you think a role of the man is to lead?
Yes.
Okay.
And women need to nurture. That is balance, right?
No. Check this out.
We are saying men, they don't communicate. They can't do this and that. But men don't need to communicate. In order to be good leaders, men should not be emotional. That's why they are good leaders, right?
Okay,
and
so you think that women
are saying men,
you think that women are more emotional than men?
Yes, that's
Can I prove you're wrong?
Are. You cannot prove me wrong. That's biology.
I am going to prove you wrong. We'll do it right now. First and foremost.
Then why are all these feminists screaming in my face?
Jesus Christ.
They're not emotional.
I'm going to go with... Wait. So other people scream in your face. Do you scream in their face?
No, I'm talking facts.
Are you a man or a woman?
I am a woman. I am emotional.
Isn't that self-refuting?
Of course I am.
What you just told us that you weren't.
What do you mean? Why are we telling women that being emotional is a bad thing? Why are we doing that?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the perfect thing.
I'm gonna give you the facts here. So no, women are not more emotional than men. This is just a misogynistic lie, and here's why. Well, first and foremost, when we actually look at actions that are generated in society that have a strong proclivity or like causal factor relating to one's emotions, we see that men dominate them. What do I mean by this? Think like violent crime. Violent crime is going to be driven by emotion, not by logic. What percentage of violent crimes are committed? No, one moment. What percentage of violent crimes are committed by men? 92% of them. And maybe your response there is to say, well, more women would commit violent crimes because they're more emotional. They just happen to be less physically strong on average. So the reason why men commit more violent crimes is because they're physically stronger on average. Well, actually, no, this doesn't explain why. Because when we look at violent crimes that don't necessitate a need for any and all physical strength, like cyberbullying with threats of violence, we still see that men are significantly more likely to engage in the crime. So if men were logical and women were emotional, why are men significantly more prone towards this incredibly emotional thing? And it doesn't just stop there. What about something else? Drunk driving, reckless driving, definitely not logical, definitely emotional. Men disproportionately drunk and reckless drive when compared to women. Moving on to the next thing. What about things that are logical? I'd say that we see a 1-to-1 correlation between something like IQ and performance in school. Who performs better in school? Women. Who performs worse in school? Men. Who gets more degrees? Women. Who gets less degrees? Men. Or even when we look at STEM-related fields, which are definitely driven by a logic, fact, reason, and not emotion, such as being a surgeon. Well, the Journal on the American Medical Association did a study on 1.4 million patients operated on by men and women surgeons worldwide, and you know the conclusion that they came to after 7 years of research was that if you're operated on by a woman, you're less likely to die as a result of your surgery, and you're less likely to experience post-operative negative outcomes. Looks like women outperform men in this very rational field of work. And it doesn't just stop there, because when we look at the facts like IQ and EQ scores, not only do women have a higher IQ on average compared to men, but they also have a higher EQ on average compared to men. What are some real-world examples of this beyond crime rates, drunk driving, reckless driving in school that I've already detailed to you? Like 71% of self-unalivings are done by men. Men do that disproportionately compared to women. That's about one of the most emotional reactions you can have. Or what about like hard DRUG and substance abuse problems? Okay, that is an irrational / immature way to process and manage one's emotions. Okay, well, managing your emotions in an immature way is just simply saying that you're more of an emotional thinker than a logical thinker, because a logical thinker would manage and control their emotions more rationally. And who disproportionately uses those things? Men. Who disproportionately goes to therapy? Women. So, like, all of the societal inclinations of men and women do not point us towards the conclusion that women are more emotional than men. They actually point us towards the opposite conclusion, that men are more emotional than women. And what are the biological factors that could be playing into this equation? I got one. In fact, it's something you've already talked about. Birth. What has evolution designed in the anatomy of females to lend a helping hand in childbirth? Thicker dendrites in their spine. What do those thicker dendrites do for women? It gives them a higher stress and a higher pain tolerance. They're biologically designed to be more tolerable to particular emotions, and this explains the empirical data that we see that demonstrates men are more likely to engage in emotional-based thinking compared to women. You're cooked, buddy. I know that you only see me debating Trump. Before I debated politics, I debated this shit all day long for like 3 years. So you're cooked, pal. Go ahead and respond.
Well, good. So now I love that was so much info and it all connected well together, I must say. Well, first of all, what you started on is saying men commit more violent crimes, right? That makes sense with men being more logical. They do not being protectors. They do not care about who they're hurting. They do not care about what the person feels. They only execute, right? That's why they are more violent. They don't care what the person feels. In that moment, the only thing that the man has on his mind is either survival or retaliation, which is protector mindset. Then you jumped onto men being worse in school, right? That makes sense also, because men don't get the support that they need. Because even though feminists say men don't communicate enough, don't show their emotions enough, they still do not get their emotions validated. The little of the emotions that they do show. For example, at school, right? They don't get the help because you're a man, you're not a woman, so they don't get help. That's why they do worse, right? They don't have the
No,
support.
it's because
the
we have people like
emotional
Andrew Tate telling them that they shouldn't have emotions because it's feminine.
Well, kind of.
Right, yeah, you see my point?
I
How
know.
it's actually the men that have caused other men to do this? And now in response to your first point, that crime/violent crime is logical? No, completely incorrect. And I could give you a very good explanation for this. It's called a theory of negative rights born out of evolution/nature and strategy. Strategically speaking, it is not conducive towards a higher quality of life for yourself or for human flourishment to commit like heinous violent acts onto others. Why? Because then they'll commit those same heinous violent acts onto you. It's not strategically advantage to do bad things onto others for a higher quality of life for yourself and human flourishment. Evolution, I think, has driven us to moral intuitions against like doing things that would include violent crime because it strategically is an advantage to us that increases the quality of our own life. So no, it's not going to be logical to engage in particular actions in which you're strategically disadvantaged for disadvantageous for the quality of our own life. She left. I really miss those debates. I really miss those debates, everybody. I cook all day long on those debates. They're so fucking free as can be. There is no good arguments to demonstrate that what she was saying was true. It is so totally incredibly free. We're going to move on to the next guest here. If you support Trump, go ahead and hop in that queue for me. Let's get that next guest loaded into the live. Welcome into You Support Trump.
Yes, of course I do.
Age, please.
19.
Perfect. Kendall, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Kendall says, thank you for educating everybody. I'm also a Canadian citizen thinking about moving back with this nonsense. Love you. Thank you for the love, Kendall. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And then Libby, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Libby says, does this woman trying to have a baby every month? Yeah, thank you for the love, Libby. Good point. Thank you so much for the $20. That is incredibly kind of you. Incredibly kind. And then Justin, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. What does Justin say? Justin says, dude, take more calls from international places every day. We Americans need more global perspective on U.S. craziness. Not a lot, just a few. That was awesome dismantling the anti-woman shit. I think it could be valuable in like conversations like that. Honestly, like what I've learned from taking international callers is that they don't really know what's going on. So it's harder to have like a more nuanced conversation. And then also Justin, thank you for the $7. I do really appreciate you so much for the love, Justin. And Jay with a $175 donation over on PayPal. Jesus, Jay. Oh my goodness gracious. Jay said, always love to you, my friend. Reminder, you deserve that 24/7. Love to you as well. Oh my goodness gracious. That is so much money. That is so incredibly kind of you, Jay. Thank you about 1 billion times over for your kindness. Can we please show some love to Jay down below in the comment section?
Let's go, Jay.
And as Marshall says, the big booms are accepted as well. Thank you, Marshall.
James is booming everywhere. Good job, James.
No, we're
Let's
giving the
go.
big booms to Jay, not James.
Okay, let's go, Jay. Big booms for Jay. Let's go, Jay. All right.
So true. So why do you support Trump?
Yeah, so what do you want to talk about? And I'll give you a reason.
I don't know. Like whatever your most compelling is to support him.
Yeah, so I support him mostly because he's against abortion. He's against kids transitioning. He is pro-family.
Pro-family?
Yeah.
Do you think that ripping healthcare and food stamps away from like 20 million low-income families is pro-family?
And how many hours do you have to work per week to not get cut off healthcare?
Off of healthcare, 20. However, more
20
people are
hours per
not
week.
just being cut off because of the work requirement, but also because of the $1 trillion defunding, which is expected now to increase premiums by upwards of 75%. So sure, we're going to have some people cut off because of the work requirement, but we're also going to have people cut off in low income brackets because they won't be able to afford the higher premiums. Then also, I disagree with any and all work requirements imposed on Medicaid.
It seems to me that the people who are paying the most into the healthcare system end up paying more off than the lower income families. For example, there's tons of examples you can give of people who are paying into the healthcare
Oh,
system
it's
who are having to
you.
pay out of pocket
It's
even
you.
more.
It's you. Why are you back?
What? What are you talking about?
How many times have we talked?
What are you talking about, Dean?
Oh, you know
And why am I
exactly
getting
what I'm
hate
talking about,
comments right
buddy.
now on my videos? I'm getting like absolute hate comments, and I'm not even doing anything wrong.
Bad hate
Your
comments.
fans,
Don't do
your
hate
fans are
comments.
some assholes. Oh my gosh! Like last time, like they're like having death threats to me.
Oh, last time. Oh, so you do remember the last time we talked.
What?
You just sold yourself out.
You debate people twice all the time.
We've debated significantly more than twice, and no, I don't.
Look at your comment section. They're saying, "Oh, he's
Are
cracking on you."
are you ready to see how good of a memory I have?
Yeah, go for it.
You've come up here to try to make the argument that abortion is racist because of.
Okay, no, but you've said that before.
See,
that was actually not me.
see. No, that was you.
I swear that.
Oh.
I promise you that was not.
That
me.
was you.
I've
And
never-
then I remember when you came up the second time and we talked about economic policy. The third time is when you came up. I remembered you from the first time you said that abortion was racist, and then you denied that was you. Then the fourth time when you came up,
I've never
what
made
came
that
up
claim
was
ever.
it was a time that you tried to call me a grifter and expose me as having $1 million in the lap.
But why are you lying about the abortion thing? I don't even know how I can say that that's racist because that's just annoying.
Why are you talking to me if I'm such an immoral grifter?
Well, that was just rage bait. That one.
Yeah.
You know that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny.
Don't you think
though.
don't you think it's interesting how I happen to remember every single one of our conversations, including very specific details of what we discussed? Damn, that sucks for you, bro. I'm sorry.
Because I'm a smart guy. I'm a smart guy, and you like our conversations, doesn't it?
No, I very also vividly remember a conversation I had yesterday with a dude named Michael that said he thinks the age of consent should be lowered to 16. Was he a smart guy too, under your view? Because I remember my conversation.
You also
with him.
believe you believe that kids can consent. So let's not get into that. I don't think.
Is this also rage bait?
'Cause
I would love to
literally-
get into that.
you
Please.
literally have.
I would love to get into that. Why do you think I think kids can consent?
Because you said it on a video.
Oh, could you play us the video?
I could probably pull it up my computer.
Great. If you could play me a clip, how about let's make a bet. If you can play me a clip of me saying explicitly that I think kids can consent, I'll give you $1,000. If you can't play
that's
a clip
also
of
capped
explicitly me saying that kids can consent, you give me $1,000. Is that a fair bet?
Hey Dean, I remember when I used to debate you like a year ago before this election, and you said me and you made a bet, and you said that if Biden loses the election, you were gonna give me $500. We made that bet in stone, and guess what? Biden didn't win, and where's my money? Guess what? I don't have the money because you lied about it.
Wait, quickly. I don't remember making that bet, but Biden didn't lose the election.
Yeah, he did. He was running against Trump.
Wait,
did Biden win?
Wait, I have a question. No, Biden didn't win. Biden didn't win. I have a question. Did I win the election?
You said if Biden loses the election,
quickly.
we're gonna
I know,
give
just because he
$500.
didn't win doesn't mean he lost. Did I win the election?
That's the stupidest shit I've ever
Answer my
heard,
question.
ever.
Did I win the election?
No, you didn't.
No. Oh, so therefore I lost the election?
Hey, Dean, let me ask you a question.
No, I'm sorry. We're not going to move on from the fact that you literally accused me of the heinous thing of thinking that kids can consent. Why are you so quickly to move on from that? That's like, that's a nail in a coffin. Like you're signing my death certificate, dude. I think that you should drill into that. Let's go ahead and, hear the clip of, me saying that I think kids can consent, apparently. I'd love to hear it. Please play it. And also, I think that the bet I offered, if you just giving me $1,000 if you can't play it, is really kind, because I could probably sue you for a lot more than that.
Aren't you already getting sued for the same thing?
No, I'm actually not.
Okay, let me try to remember the clip. Basically, the clip was involving this parent asking you, you asked the parent if they think that their kid should be able to consent to having grown men walk into their changing room, and then the parent replied, and they said,
"You're already off
I would
base.
never-
You're already losing. You're already
and then
wrong."
the dad said in that position, he said, I would never put my kid in that position. And then you started freaking out, you started tweaking, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. And that's basically what happened.
Would you like to know why I freaked out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because this husband and wife was saying that parents have the right to sexually exploit and traffic their children. They can't fault parents for doing it since they think they have the right to do it. They also said that when a minor is sexually exploited, that it benefits the minor. It's good for them in their career. As well as somebody said that child pornography is art. And the husband said that the creation of child pornography is not exploitation of children involved in said creation.
So you don't think that you did anything wrong in that conversation?
I don't think I did anything wrong related to anything we've discussed so far.
No, I'm asking you in that conversation, did you think you did anything wrong?
The parts of the conversation that we've discussed so far, no. So before we move on to other parts of the conversation, it's worth clarifying on who the parents were, what they said, and what I said.
I'm asking you, in the conversation that you had with those parents, did you say anything that was wrong?
Yeah, I did. And we'll move on to exactly what that is after we can clarify on who the parents were, what they said, what they believe in, and what my reaction was. Because you made the accusation that I think kids can consent, and I flipped out on these parents because they didn't think kids can consent. It's worth clearing the air. And clearing the air would look like me describing to you that this husband and wife thought that parents had the right to exploit their children sexually. And when parents did sexually exploit their children, it benefited the kids and called it a business transaction. Something they called child pornography art. And the father said that the creation of child pornography is not exploitation of the children involved in the creation of child pornography.
Was this before or after you ordered people in your chat to call CPS on them?
So you don't want to respond to the parents. I feel like the reason that you don't want to respond and or talk about the parents is because if you did, then you'd have to concede. And you don't concede, you rage bait. So give me one reason why I should keep you on the live for more than 5 seconds, given that you've now deflected from addressing who these parents were, what they did, what they said, and conceding that no, I did not say children can consent to sex, and no, the parents were not saying that children can't consent to sex. Give me one reason why I shouldn't drop you, given that you can't address or concede on any of those points.
Yeah, so I'll address them. I think that the parents definitely said some things that were messed up. However, I think that you also said some things that were messed up.
Was one of those things saying that? Was one of those things saying that? Wait. I just want to clarify. Was one of those things that I said that was messed up? Was one of those things the idea that kids can consent? Because that was your original accusation.
It very much so sounded like there is probably thousands and thousands upon thousands of people who would take that same idea away from the video that they watch, where it seemed that you gave the idea that kids can't consent. So it's not just.
So we've moved. So now you've shifted the goalposts from saying that, Dean, you explicitly said kids can consent, to now shifting the goalposts to saying, Dean, it seems like the idea you were promoting in the video was that kids can consent. So which one is it? Is it something I explicitly said, or is it an inference in which you were yielding off of my words?
I don't think I used the word Dean specifically said that kids can consent.
Yeah, you did.
I don't think I ever said that. No, I don't think so.
No, I mean, I'll even give you conversational context to demonstrate that. Remember the bet that I offered you? What was that bet? It was a bet on if that's something that I explicitly said. So that is, once again, the premise that you had brought up. You said, Dean, you said children can consent to sex. If that statement meant anything other than you explicitly said this, then your statement was wrong.
So do you think that kids could consent to having 40-year-old men perv on them?
No, I don't think that.
Okay, then why in the video were you going crazy when the parent said that he would never put that child in that position?
Because both the husband and wife said that parents ultimately have the ability to do that, and they can't fault them when they do that. That's why.
That's not what they said. They said that they would never put that child in that position. That is word for word what they said.
Well, I mean, that's what you heard in the 10-second out of context clip that you watched. The context is that they were redefending on multiple occasions, not just this occasion, but including this occasion, that parents have the right to do this to their children. They just said that they wouldn't personally do it. Listen, the conversation, like the very first thing that was said was, here's Donald Trump walking into the changing rooms of these nicotines. And what was your first response to that?
Did the parents give consent? Did they allow it?
Goatman, precisely. I don't think that a parent can allow for their underage teen to be perved on. Cut it off there. What did I say? I don't think that a parent can allow their underage teen to be perved on. Can you repeat what I just said just to make sure you heard it?
I don't think a parent should allow their underage kid to be perved on.
Okay, if these parents are good parents like you're suggesting, what would we expect their next reaction to be?
Any parent can do what they want. I think some parents are really evil, but like people have free will. I think it's disgusting, but people can ultimately do what they want. And that's why he responded to that by saying he would never do it, just like 99.99999% of parents would not do it either.
So you think that parents can actualize consent for the exploitation of their kids?
No, I don't think so, no.
So
Not at
parents
all.
can't do everything that they want?
No, they can't do everything that they want. That doesn't mean that they're not.
Thank you for walking back that statement in less than 5 seconds. I actually really appreciate you for walking back that statement with one statement from me. So I just want to clarify. So we'll go ahead and replay this. That a parent can allow for their underage teen to be perved on. Okay, so I said I don't think that a parent can allow for their underage teen to be perved on. What would we expect good parents to respond to this?
I agree.
Okay, want to hear what these parents said?
I already know what they said.
You don't think, or that's the law? There's a difference. There's a huge difference. What's the law?
Wait, are you... So no, that's actually not the law. It is...
What is the law, Dean? What is the age of consent? What is the law?
We're talking about teenagers, under 18 here.
Right, and they don't have the legal authority to make that consent. So whose responsibility is it then? Who is it? Is it God? It's not God. Who is it?
So the child can't consent to sex, and the parent can't consent to the child having sex.
So where does the consent fall? Because
nobody.
When you go to the doctor's office, when kids go on field trips, who's signing the papers?
It's not clocking to you. I'm standing on business.
Yeah, I have to say, the more I hear their argument, the worse and worse it gets. That's kind of just a shitty argument they gave.
We're going to go to move on to the next guest. Here we go. Honestly, the only reason why I keep entertaining the people that come up with that argument is because it is just so easy to refute it. It is just a free dog walk. And obviously, I'm going to take a lot of satisfaction out of that free dog walk because the misrepresented, fictitious claims that they're making are intentionally supposed to damage my reputation and damage my character. So, I take great satisfaction out of the freest dog walk ever known to mankind. So we're going to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Do just give us a minute. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you support Trump. We'll bring you up and we'll have a conversation. Who is next? Bro, this person is continually spamming my fucking PayPal. They're actually insane. This person's nuts. Are you okay?
Why don't you protect white people, Dean? Just answer the question.
Okay, what
it's a very
happened to you?
simple question.
No, question.
What do you mean what happened to me?
What went wrong?
I'm upset that you won't protect white people. It's actually disgusting.
I need to just ask you, what went wrong with you?
Why won't you answer the question?
What do white people need protection from?
They need protection from white liberals like you and from minorities as well.
Oh, white people need protection from minorities.
Both of these groups.
Would you say that?
Yes, very much so.
I'm just curious. I want to learn more about your view here. Would you also say that minorities need protection from white people? Is it like a, two-way street type of deal?
What do white people do to minorities that they need protection from?
Oh, I don't know. Systemic persecution, in some cases genocide, in some cases an imbalance of rights that would amount to legal and social oppression. This can be seen historically with slavery in America, racial segregation in America, public lynching in America, redlining in America. This can be seen socially with things historically in America that are also true today, of assumed biases and prejudice against black people, saying that they're more aggressive than white people. saying that they're less intelligent than white people. Maybe the advent and belief of phrenology, saying that they have different dimples in the back of their skull that make them submissive and willing to follow white people. I could give you a very, 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 very long list, but I'll stop there. What do minorities do to white people that white people need protection from?
Okay, in response to your other argument,
You can respond after you tell me what minorities do to white people that white people need protection from. I'll give
wait,
you a
no,
chance
say
to
another
respond.
example. Wait, say another example of what you gave before.
To be fair, I think that you'd only be able to handle about 1 in 5 sentences or less written with crayon on polka dot paper. To be fair, I gave you around 15. I don't think that you remember any of them, so I don't think a 16th would do much. But I want you to tell me, what do white people need protection from minorities for like specifically from?
Wait, did you give lynching as an example?
Can you clarify on one thing that white people need protection from minorities for?
Wait, so if somebody commits a crime, then they don't deserve to be punished? Because you said...
Okay, all right. She couldn't. I think that her account should be banned. I'm actually gonna take that to my TikTok. I'm gonna take that to my TikTok representative. I'm gonna take her account. I mean, I think that the shit she said on this live is enough to get it banned. So, I mean, it violates TOS. Like on top of like anything else, violates TOS. I bet I could probably get her account banned. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Roger's not here, so we're gonna move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute, y'all. Who's next? We got Evan loading up. Here we go. I mean, obviously, I don't think the account ban would do much to her. Let's see. Kate, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo 20 minutes ago, saying Dean cooking us lunch. Appreciate you for that love, Kate. Can we please get 100 Kate W's down below, Kate with a K? Thank you so much, Kate. And then Stephanie and Trinity, I appreciate you both for the $5. And then Vaughn with the $6. Thank you so much. Phenomenal. Then also Sophie, thank you so much for the $30 over on PayPal. Sophie says, Dean, ignore these weirdos trying to make you out to be something that you're not. Well, I appreciate you for the kind words and the $30 donation, Sophie. If we could please get 300 Sophie W's down below in that comment section, it would mean the world to me. Thank you so much, Sophie. And then Sky, thank you for the $5 over on CA. By the way, that last guest literally just spams my PayPal with a penny all day to like say crazy shit. Oh, by the way, I guess to that last guest, because you're obviously still listening, I'm gonna go ahead and add up the total amount of money that you've sent to me, and then I'm gonna multiply it by 10, and then I'm gonna donate it to a queer black youth charity. In fact, it'll be the same queer black youth charity that we did a fundraiser for around 6 months ago on the live. I'm not. So if you'd like more to go to said charity, last guest, feel free to donate to me more on PayPal. That'd be great. That'd be great. I'd love it. You know, it looks like from you, we got a couple dollars here and there, a couple pennies. And in fact, your name is flooding my most recent donations over on PayPal. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Let's go and see what that next guest has to say, everybody. We got Deborah Ann loading up into the box. Here we go, yo. Welcome in, Deborah. Do you support Trump? Oh, Deborah's not here. We're going to move on to the next guest. Everybody just do be patient. Let's go to get that next guest, Jake, loaded up into the box. You know what? Fuck it. Honestly, I'm looking at the PayPal. I just see pennies. So, Naomi.
Fuck you.
Base.
Fuck you.
Okay, Jake. Welcome to Earth. I understand that this is your first time having an adult conversation.
Fuck you.
Very nice, Jake. I'm guessing that you're saying that because you politically disagree with me. So, Jake, why do you politically... Very nice. Why do you politically disagree with me? Jake, are you here? Jake, are you here? Okay, goodbye, Jake. Moving on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. Do just give us a minute to get that next guest up in here. Jake doesn't really know how to use his words, everybody. Very embarrassing, very embarrassing. Let's see who's next. Courtney! Thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I appreciate you for that love, Courtney. Courtney says, I don't have much, but I have enough to tell you to keep dog walking these people. Your community is my safe space. Thank you, Courtney. I appreciate you for being here, and thank you so much for the $10 donation. That is incredibly kind of you. Show some love to Courtney down below, as well as Stephanie for the $10 over on PayPal, saying, thanks for being so knowledgeable. I appreciate you for that love, Stephanie. Welcome, and Steven, do you support Trump?
No, but I'm getting your face tattooed on me right now.
Don't do that, Steven. Don't do that. Don't do that, Steven. You'll regret it. You'll regret it. Don't do that. Moving on to the next guest, Big G, everyone. We're going to get that next guest loaded into the box. Welcome.
I'm on my backup account. I am above the age of 18.
Very nice. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Why do you support Trump?
Personally, I don't know too much about politics. I just know, like, from my standpoint, I think he's a good president for war. Like, regarding our military, I feel like he is best fit for that position.
Really? Why would you say that? I think it probably takes like an intelligent and strategic leader to be like best fit for serving during wartime. I don't think he's either of those two things.
Because you gotta look at what he just did. When he stopped the missiles from coming here,
Oh, we had the multi-guest live access restricted. We should have probably done a restart. Honestly, I just kind of ignored it because we get our main account back tomorrow. We'll appeal it though. Let's see if we can get it back. Click on the ban. Click appeal. Click submit. Oh, and we got the glitch. Quite frankly, it doesn't even let us appeal it. But let me go ahead and send this off to my team. 3-day ban. No option to appeal. Can you help appeal this for me? Handle at DNC. Dean! Great. That ban will hurt real bad. No, we get our main account back tomorrow, so it's not too big of a deal. It's not too big of a deal. Let's see. They should be able to submit that appeal right now. We should be able to get the account back. I mean, hopefully. We haven't been getting them back recently. Somebody in the comment section says Dean has a team. I do. I do indeed have a team. I do. They're very helpful. They do a lot. They do a lot for me. I love my team. I love them so much. Love them so much. Let's see real quick. Let's see here. Oh, Sky, I did see the $20 donation over in Cash App. That did get returned to you. Cash App just randomly limits me. So I did take it out of the bio for that reason. You know, what's going on? What should we talk about while we're waiting on hearing back on that ban? Have you guys heard about that couple that was caught at the Coldplay concert? It was like some billionaire and one of his coworkers, and they were both cheating on their spouses, and they got caught on the Jumbotron. That is one of the craziest things that I've seen in a while. And the way that it has taken the internet in storm has been lovely. That is probably like the first time in like recent history that I could remember some billionaire dude truly being held accountable for doing some shitty shit to his spouse. A lot of the people in the chat are saying that he resigned. I heard he was placed on leave. I didn't hear that he resigned. Yeah, it was the CEO and CFO. That was pretty crazy. Oh, and now just everybody, literally everybody's been talking about it. I love it. I will say, he just resigned? No way. No way. We gotta look this up. He did. He resigned. Dude, this is like 30 minutes ago. Should I record a breaking news video on it? He resigned, dude. He stepped down. Holy cow. Let's go. What a beautiful thing. Let's read off this reporting from CNN. Andy Bryan, the chief executive of New York-based tech company Astronomer, has resigned from his role after he was spotted embracing an employee at a Coldplay concert, is a nice way to put it, according to a LinkedIn post from the company on Saturday. Astronomer's board of directors accepted Bryan's resignation, according to the LinkedIn post, and will begin searching for the next CEO. Let's read the LinkedIn post real quick. There we go. Yeah, this came out an hour ago. They said, as previously stated, Astronomer is committed to the value and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met. Andy Bryan has tendered his resignation, and the board of directors has accepted. The board will begin a search for a next CEO as co-founder, and chief product officer Pete DeJoy continues to serve as interim CEO. Before this week, we were known as a pioneer in the data ops space, helping data teams power everything from modern analytics to production AI. While awareness of our company may have changed overnight, our product and our work for customers has not. We're continuing to do what we do best, helping our customers with their toughest data and AI problems. So we went from taking a break to resigning, and I don't see anything here about the lady resigning, but I know that she was married too. She should also be stepping down. Dude, holy shit. I wonder what state they're in. Because if they're in an at-fault divorce state, which I think they are because they said New York. I think they are because they said New York. Massachusetts? Well, I wonder what like the divorce laws are in their state. Because if they're in an at-fault divorce state, dude, Andy's like wife is going to become so fucking wealthy, and good for her. That is great. That is great. Yeah. That is just phenomenal, as she should. She's getting a lot. She's getting a lot, everybody. W her wife, you know. She's going to be single, living her best life with, like, seriously, like, at the minimum, like $600 million to her name. All because of a Coldplay concert. What else has there been that's going on? I saw that FaZe has been doing debates recently. They released a debate like, what's harder, streaming or doing a 9 to 5? It was just pure rage bait the whole time. That was interesting to watch. Yeah. All the FaZe streamers were saying that it was harder than a 9 to 5. And they were just like rage baiting the fuck out of people that work the 9 to 5s. It was pretty bad. It was just pure rage bait. As somebody that streams full time, this is not harder than a 9 to 5. And I probably operate in one of the most intensive streaming niches. Like all those FaZe guys, they play video games all day. I research and I talk to people all day and squeeze my brain cells to their limits. And I still think that what I'm doing now is easier than what I was doing when I was working for Wendy's. And Trump got sick. Yeah, have you seen his big ol' ankles, everybody? Obama was making fun of him. Obama was making fun of him. He was talking about how his ankles look good. That was funny. That was good. I think that most of what's been going on recently has a lot to do with Epstein, though. I haven't really seen much news outside of that. Like honestly, like if you go to like any news source or even like any like news reporters, like on TikTok, for instance, like Aaron, most of what's been reported on recently is all.
We have big news right now. The CEO of Astronomer, Andy Byron,
is all Epstein, plus the Astronomer CEO stepping down now. Oh, then a little bit to do with Obama too. Like apparently orchestrating some shit. I haven't done my research on it though. We'll probably be doing that. Oh, Donald wanting Rosie's citizenship. We actually haven't talked about that on the streams at all. Can we talk about how insane that is? The president wants to denaturalize a US born citizen to citizen parents simply because that citizen is outspoken against him. That has got to be one of the crazier things that I've seen. Oh yeah, Colbert was canceled. Oh, and apparently it came out that that was a bribe to allow, what's their parent company? What's CBS's parent? Paramount to do a merger. So, yeah, it's been the news cycle recently. I think that we are going to see a really big hit in the news cycle here soon as an update about the letter that Trump sent to Epstein. I think that we're going to continue to see facts trickle down from that. Dexter Resurrection is on Paramount. I know, which I love Dexter Resurrection. Oh, if there's any Dexter fans in here, can we like all agree that Dexter Resurrection is like fucking based? That it is so peak. I will like, dude, I hope that Morgan C. Hall is playing Dexter until he's like 95 years old. And I will watch every single prequel. I will watch every single sequel. I live for that shit. I've never seen a show executed as well as they have. What's Dexter about? A serial killer. And it is one of the best shows ever produced. And Dexter Resurrection is carrying on that torch to a T. The first 3 episodes have been so fucking good. It is so peak. Oh my God, it's so peak. Somebody in the YouTube chat says, I was pretty surprised with how good Dexter Resurrection was. No, me too. It was so good. It is so good. Dave, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. I appreciate you for the love. Oh my goodness gracious. It is so fucking good. First Dexter series was good. No, man, I binge watched that in a while. My top 2 shows are Dexter and Breaking Bad. A disgusted veteran said Deb annoys me. Deb really annoyed my girlfriend. I mean, I feel like I always saw where she was coming from, but my girlfriend didn't. Deb annoyed my girlfriend. You know, there's a lot of things that happened in the 3rd episode of Resurrection that I wish I could talk about, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's seen it. Somebody in the YouTube chat says Severance is the best. Oh yeah, that's also one of my all-time favorites. As well as, fun fact, people in Severance are like lived out. You know, like Michael Scott, is that his name? No, not, what am I saying? Not Michael Scott. Adam Scott. Adam Scott is lived out, everybody. Fun fact, Adam Scott from Severance. He's so lived out that he follows me. He follows me. Adam Scott follows me. We've exchanged some DMs. He thinks what I do is cool. Fun fact, Adam Scott is the shit. You clears Dexter, says somebody in my chat. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Jeff Goldberg doesn't even have shit on Dexter. And I'm surprised I even know his name. I've never even watched this series because of how terrible it is in contrast to Dexter. No debates. Well, we got our guest access restricted. We're waiting for that to be overturned. Sid, thank you for the $100. Well, not $100. $10 on Venmo, saying the Discord wants to know your thoughts on JoJo. I'm decent friends with her ex, Avery. I really like Avery, and from what I've heard, I think that JoJo like really screwed over Avery. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun hanging out with Avery in Michigan and in Vegas. I think that Avery's pretty cool. As well as she seems to live a pretty cool life. She's always traveling and whatnot, you know, having a bunch of fun. So I mean, and I've heard a lot of what like, you know, what had happened to Avery. So, you know, I'm gonna be anti JoJo Siwa. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. Dean lore just dropped. I probably have a bunch of lore like that. Yeah. No, dude. Avery's awesome. Avery's awesome. Shakir, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Appreciate you for the love. In fact, I need to text Avery because I'm going to be going out to LA in the next couple days. I should see if she's out there. Now it's actually worth talking about. I'm probably going to be taking a day or two off of streaming here, like super duper, like soon, like in the next couple days, possibly as soon as the 22nd, because I'm going out to LA for an event. There is, it is a private event for a panel discussion on some really cool things that I was invited to. It's talking about, there's like a bunch of smart people. It's an event that surrounds panel discussions about what the left is doing wrong, how the left can do better, and also like a lot about like disparities of like marginalized communities in America. It's very centered around like advocacy for like Black and Latino Americans, and just like very like nuanced academic conversations about where this country is going wrong, what the left can do to be better, and what we could do to like stop like marginalization of Black, Latino, and other marginalized Americans. And the audience for this event is just like it's kind of crazy. Just like really rich people in LA, investors. It's like I think somebody even said there may be like a few celebrities there, and I think it's like a private closed door thing. But the goal of it is to basically convince these super rich people to take their money and to put it into good places to like build a more galvanized, more progressive left. And address disparities and marginalization of, different communities in America. Like the people that I'm talking alongside, I have imposter syndrome to the max. I won't share like their specific names or whatnot. I'm going to be so nervous walking into this. In fact, like I should be. I don't compare to these people. They're like UCLA professors, Stanford professors, people that have dedicated their life to social advocacy, like award-winning Hollywood directors that have created documentaries about like marginalized groups in this country. And anyway, so that's what I may be doing. Holy shit, that's insane. No, it is pretty insane. It is pretty insane. Definitely feel a lot of imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like their value is like wisdom and a lifetime of experience and academic education. Like my value, I think, is that, I'm like young and have a big platform, So hopefully I'll be able to keep up. Then I also did get an invite to possibly be a part of a documentary. I can't tell you guys who's directing it or what it's about, but I did get that invite. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways, there's the update on what's going on with me. Dean, will I go back to college? I've actually been considering it. And honestly, like the only reason why I'd be, it'd be possible for me to go back to college is because of you guys. I just want to make that one clear. Like, I don't think that I could tangibly afford it now. If I didn't have, you guys and your very kind donation. So that's actually been something that I've been considering is, because I'm like literally so blessed because of y'all, like possibly going back and finishing out my last 2 years. I do miss formal education. I miss it a lot. I really do. It would give me like less time to focus on this. So I don't know. Your opinion on TikTok cults? I've seen a lot of like posts about TikTok cults popping up. I don't know anything about them because I've just kind of scrolled every time I've seen it. Jason with the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat said, my mom got a tattoo of your name. Bro, are you serious? Dude, you got to join my Discord and send a picture. Samantha with the $10 on PayPal says, a Brit here. We hate Trump on this side of the pond. Based. Hell yeah. Nick with the $10 saying, big fan, as you know, but if you ever talk to liberals on the show to talk about the disappointment with the Democrats, I would join in a heartbeat. Trump is probably more important to talk about, though. So, I mean, I think for the most part on these streams, like we just talk to Trump supporters, but a lot of the work that I do outside of these streams is talking about how we need to reform the Democrat Party. I loved going up to Aspen Ideas and talking about that. And that's also going to be a similar topic of conversation out in California. It's like, it's one of my favorite things to talk about. Oh, somebody in the chat says, do I know anything about Ashley Barnes? Dude, I went down the rabbit hole. That's some crazy shit. That's like, dude, and her dad too. Like, I probably don't know like the specifics. All I know is about the drawer and like roughly some of the things associated with that. Please explain. Honestly, if you want an explanation of what I'm talking about, just go to like, once the stream ends, go to your TikTok search bar and just look up Ashley Barnes. You'll find explanations. Yeah, that's insane. Like what she did is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Let's see. Thoughts on Taylor Swift, says somebody in my YouTube comment section. I've never been a fan of her music, but I think that she kind of has a nice vibe to her. I saw that she did like a closed door concert in front of like a small crowd to her in some random bar spontaneously. I thought that was pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing for like one of the largest artists to ever live to do. That was pretty cool. My girlfriend really doesn't like her though. My girlfriend is like a big time environmentalist. By the way, lore drop about my girlfriend, big time environmentalist. That is like where her focus is. Big time environmentalist. So my girlfriend doesn't like Taylor Swift that much because of her 45-minute private jet flights. And that's like what my girlfriend puts her biggest like preference on insofar as like what she really like staunchly cares about strongly is big time environmentalist. What kind of music do I listen to? It kind of depends on the day. It depends on the day. I like a lot of different kind of music. Sometimes I'm feeling country. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I fuck with country. Okay? You know? Tyler Childers. God, I love him. God, I love Tyler. Zach Bryan, before I figured out he was a piece of shit, loved his music. Loved his music too. But, you know, even outside of country, then I like, you know, what else there is, you know, like Deftones. God, I love Deftones. Great. Oh, but like my favorite band of all time, and this is unchanging and will forever persist to be the same. The best band that has ever existed is the Backseat Lovers. They're by far the best band ever. Them and Surf Curse. Backseat Lovers and Surf Curse are probably my favorite bands ever. Tyler, the Creator, I was a big fan of him for a while. He's dropping an album day after tomorrow. I'll make sure I give it a listen. I always listen to his shit when it drops. Green Day, I like some of their older stuff. Post Malone, yeah, I mean, I listened to him in middle school. I feel like I kind of grew out of Post Malone. Joji, man, I love Joji. He doesn't drop enough to like maintain a high level of relevance in my brain, but his shit's good. Radiohead, oh fuck yeah, I love Radiohead. Are you kidding me? That is great. Like, dude, what a great band. What a great band. Let's see here. Alex G. I like Alex G. I could even play like a little bit of Alex G on the guitar. Oh, I fucked that one up. Oh, fuck. I'm fucking it up, everybody. I was fucking it up. Got some stage fright. I love Alex G, though. There's also, like, I think this one's, like, Mary or something. I forget what it's called. Uh-oh. I haven't played this one in a while. Yeah, that one's a little rough. I mean, I learned a little bit of Alex G back in the day. Probably been a while. Who else? Who else do we got? Drake? No, I don't listen to Drake. I'm gonna be honest. I've never been a fan of Drake either. It's just not my shit. Billie? I enjoy Billie's music. It's like not heavy on the playlist, but I enjoy her music. Have I heard of the band Ghost? No, I haven't. Frank Ocean, he's like kind of stuck up. I don't like how he canceled his performance at that like one big old concert. But I do like some of his music. Sid on Venmo says, now the Discord wants you to play Moonbeam. No, get out of here. I'm actually not a Benson Boone hater. But fuck out of here with that brain rot. Jason with a $20. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Saying, Dean, I've spent so much on your TikTok live in here. Dude, Jason, stop spending, bro. But I do really appreciate you for the love, and I'd love to see the tattoo that your mom got. But thank you so much for the $20, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do I like SB? Dude, they were my favorite band growing up. I have memorized the words to so many of their songs. I loved SB in high school. That was my shit, dude. Lana? No, I like Lana. Mac? Man, I love Mac. Mac Miller dying is probably one of the saddest celebrity deaths to me ever. That one's just so bad. That one's so fucking bad. I miss Matt. Smashing Pumpkins? Always. I actually have some guitar picks signed by the Smashing Pumpkins. Fun fact of the day. That one's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, everybody. It is 2:30 my time. Harvey, thank you for another $20 over on Super Chat. Thank you for the love, Harvey. Let's get 200 RVWs. Allison Chains. Oh, the OGs. Chapel Roan. Nah, I don't. I'm not a big fan of her. I think that some people take the hate against her too far, but I just happen to have a preference against her. And that's about as far as I take it. I think some people take that shit way too far. But I do have a preference against Rowan, I will say. I'm not her fan. But I'm also not her D1 hater. Alexandria, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo, saying that you love what I do. Thank you for the love, Alexandria. That is so incredibly kind. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, everybody. I'm going to get off here in a couple minutes. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, feel free to ask me in the chat. I definitely want to use the last couple minutes on live here for a Q&A. And if you want to ask me any questions and get my response, feel free to donate to me over on Venmo or PayPal, and I'll be able to read them, including the message. Harvey, thank you for another $20 super chat. Dude, Harvey, you're going off today. Guys, show some love to Harvey. Seriously, they've donated at least $100 over on YouTube. Thank you, Harvey. That is seriously incredibly kind of you. Thank you. Merch? I haven't released merch yet because if I do release merch, I just want it to be actually cool. I want it to be something that I could wear out in public and be fuck yeah, I'm dripping. You know what I mean? I look good. This is heat. And I have a couple ideas. One idea for merch that I have is anti-Trump merch, but it looks cool. Anti-Trump merch that isn't just anti-Trump, boo, Trump is bad, I'm a liberal. But anti-Trump merch with drip. Anti-Trump merch with a little grunge. You know what I mean? You see somebody sport... Dude, Harvey, stop donating to me. You just said you're going broke. Harvey, I really appreciate you for the love over on Super Chat. Thank you for another $20, but please stop donating to me if you're going broke. I appreciate you for the love. I'd love to thank you without your donations. Thank you for the love, Harvey. Stop donating right now. I'm cutting you off, but thank you for the love. But just take a break, hang out with us in the chat. Stop sending me your money. I do appreciate you for your kindness, though. But anyways, how do you guys feel about that? Like drippy, like tough, grungy anti-Trump merch. It's like you see somebody wearing it, and you're like, oh, like they don't fuck with Trump. That's sick. But then you also look at their outfit, and you're like, they look good as fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah, you guys say yes. I'm gonna have to find a way to get it done because that'd be pretty cool. I had that idea a couple nights ago. Blake, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. Blake says, I'm about to pay off all of my loans and I feel like I need to escape the US before I can't. If I could, where would you go? I would go to Norway. My girlfriend's family, some of my girlfriend's family lives in Norway. So that's where I'd go. We'd have some people up there. AG, thank you so much for the $1 over on Venmo, and Marg, thank you for the $1 on Venmo as well. Marg says, "Sad day, you missed my Venmo." Oh fuck, I didn't miss that one. AG with $1 saying, "Can you talk about the current legal immigration pathways, please?" Well, I mean, we talk about them on the live often. I basically just think that they suck. Like they're so bad. They really need to be reformed, and nobody wants to reform them. Z, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Carly with the $5 says, "Do you play electric guitar at all?" Yeah, I actually have an electric guitar downstairs. Autumn says, "I love watching your lives every day." Thank you so much for the love, Autumn. Oh, sorry, I got that inactivity alert. There we go. Let's see what Z says with the $10. Z says, "I'm a fashion designer. I'd love to design a merch line for you. I could send my portfolio to you." Z, I just sent you a message under your PayPal donation. Literally send me the link. I'll look at it on stream. Send link for port. I butchered the spelling. If you send it to me right now, I'll look at it on the stream. I'll like hide it though if you don't want like your personal identifying information though. I'll just like look at it and give my reaction to you right now. Laura, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo saying, "What is my next debate in person and when will it be public?" I don't have any in-person debates scheduled right now. I really want to get one on the books. I was thinking about going round 3 with Emily Wilson because she was yapping about me on a podcast yesterday, but I mean, it's probably a little bit over the top at this point. We've already done it twice, but I would love to crush her again. She was like shitting on me like yesterday on a podcast. I haven't talked to her for months, and yesterday she was whining about how much she hates me and how much of an immoral grifter she thinks I am. Like, dude, I would love to like intellectually defeat her in an argument again. Sarah, thank you so much for the $5 saying, "Random as fuck, but if you place a classic GTR anywhere in a shirt, you'll already have like 1 million sales." Yeah, dude, car guys love their shirts, right? Jalen with $5 saying, "Sappy question, but what's my favorite thing about my girlfriend?" Well, there's a lot of favorite things about my girlfriend. It's hard to name one when there's so many. I don't know, for like instance, like if you mean like physically speaking, I really like her hair. I think that her hair is really pretty. Her hair and her smile. Garly, thank you for the $5 saying, "What kind of electric do you have?" I forget the brand. It's been a while since I picked it up, or been a while since I've taken a look. I wish I could remember. It's not like a memorable brand or anything. You know, it's not super expensive. Layla, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal, and Abigail the $10 as well. Thank you guys so much for the love. Thank you. Morgan with the $5 on PayPal says, "Dean, I need to know, do you watch anime?" Nope, I don't watch anime. I just don't like it. I don't like anime. I don't like the art style. I don't know why. I wish I did. I'd be a lot cooler if I did, but I don't. Sierra with the $5 saying, "Have I ever heard of 21 Pilots?" Dude, of course. I love them when I was growing up. I remember like me in like 6th grade jamming out to 21 Pilots. Hell yeah. Honestly, if you weren't jamming out to 21 Pilots in 6th grade, what the fuck were you doing? Y'all, I just wanted to be vocal from this point forward. I'm not going to be reading off any of the donations just because we're about to get off. I just wanted to vocally say that so, you know, nobody like had like a false expectation. But I appreciate everyone so much for the love. You guys are awesome. Let's see if there's any that we missed. Alex with the $5 says, Alexis with the $5 says, you should collab with Change. Their SCOTUS shirt was so hard, I'd wear it all the time. I'm going to have to look them up. Let me look them up. CHGNE SCOTUS shirt. But yeah, basically I want some hard-ass fucking drippy anti-Trump merch. That'd be so tough. I'd sell it tomorrow. Irmina, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal, says, if you make merch, please make bigger sizes too, sending from Lithuania. Dude, of course. We'd be selling in all sizes. We're not Brandy Melville over here. I fucking hate Brandy Melville. Fun fact. Fun fact. I've had beef with Brandy Melville since I was in middle school, which says something because in middle school, like, I was still like some like right-wing Trump supporter, but like I still just hated them. I don't know. I've always hated Brandy Melville. Fun fact. Oh, jeez. Don't know why. I have a Brandy Melville bias. All right. How dare I? Somebody in the chat. Brianna, thank you for the $8 on PayPal. Saying, do I know the singer Aurora? She follows you on Instagram. I think I saw her before because I look through like people that repost my shit on their stories often. And I saw that she reposted something and I saw that she had a bunch of followers, but I don't know anything about her. Brianna says she follows you on Insta. I'm jealous. She's my favorite artist. I'll have to listen to her music. I'll have to listen to her music. All right, everybody. Okay, we just got the portfolio in from that merch designer that I told I'd look at their portfolio on live. I'll just give it my... Oh, shit, there's so many people over on YouTube that I didn't see. I'm so sorry, you guys. We need to give YouTube a little bit of love. We need to give YouTube actually a lot of bit of love. Harvey, thank you for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Harvey, I'm about to ban you. I'm not even joking. I really appreciate you for the love, but you continue to make this conscious decision to continue to donate me money while repeating that you don't have any money. But no, I seriously, like I said, I really do appreciate you so much for the $100 over on Super Chat. Thank you for the love. Like, that is literally insane, Harvey. But I'm about to like just ban you from the stream. Of course, I don't want to do that because that means you won't be able to see my lives anymore. But like, if you're actually just like super rich and you're psychologically torturing me by telling me that you're poor, please stop doing that. And if you're broke and you're like sending me money through a credit card, like seriously, stop. I'd like to ban you if you continue to do that. But seriously, Harvey, I do appreciate you so much for the love. Harvey with sorry, not Harvey. Claire with the $10 saying, I love this space and what you're doing. Keep it going and thanks for helping out the youth. I appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you so much. That is so incredibly kind of you. Oh, yo, more right-wing information, everybody. Jane Nunn in my YouTube live comment section says, Dean wore blackface for Halloween in 2016. He needs to apologize to the African-American community now. I feel like what a lot of these right-wingers get wrong with their misinformation is they're just too dumb to like recognize that I'm 20. So like in 2016, I would have been 10 or 11. like, bro, you're going to have to do much better than that. Like, you're going to have to do significantly better than that with your misinformation. Aria, thank you for the $5 over on PayPal saying thoughts on Hamilton. Never watched Hamilton. I think their music's a little strange, though. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the day. I love you all. I'll see you all tomorrow on the main account, by the way. But yeah, it's my friend's birthday. So they actually turned 21. They turned 21. Gotta go to a bar. Well, wait, I'm 20. We're not gonna go to a bar. We're not gonna go to a bar. Goodbye. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow.